right, what is up, my beautiful nerds? We are have a stacked panel, and will be even more stacked later. Um, but we are going over a beautiful movie, one of my favorite releases of the year so far. Stopped me from canceling my Netflix subscription. They got me for another month. Those bastards. They had to do it. But I'm so excited to talk about this movie. I feel like it is a game changer. We've been spoiled for choice with black surrealist cinema this year, as you've seen from my videos and everything that we've covered. And I'm glad that we have such a stacked panel to cover this one tonight. We're going over They Cloned Tyrone. And how about I introduce the panel, starting from my right, or probably my left, depending on how you're watching this. From the mean streets of Las Vegas. I hope it's not as hot as it is there than it is here, because my AC is not working. It is Kirsten Cobb.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Actually, it's not so bad. It's been like cloudy and rainy the last couple of days, which is fan-fucking-tastic. It's almost like fall weather, so instead of being 115, it was 84 today for most of the day, and I needed a sweater. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I stepped
It's hot
outside
over
and I almost died anyway, so.
Absolutely. And to her left, we have the Jedi Master Grayson, one half of the Drunk Banthas duo. He has been joining me on the Foundation streams every weekend. It is Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Doing really good, man. Excited to talk about this movie. Speaking of the Foundation pod, I just listened to a 3-hour pod about Oppenheimer. It made me feel a lot better about our 3-hour stream about Foundation. So.
Sorry. Did you say it was a 3-hour? It was a 3-hour stream about Oppenheimer. So just a minute per minute of the movie.
Basically,
that's awesome.
It just broke down every second. Yeah,
that's basically what we're doing. So that's 6 hours of content right there.
That's a double feature for you for the eating.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like Longenheimer, am I right? I'll do it. All right. And right below him, we have the clone himself. He's been missing ever since that secret invasion picked up. He has been on the run, but today we got him back. He is the 3002 version, A3002 version. It is producer Terry. How you doing?
Man, I'm so fucking tired. Like, I went from DC, we went from DC, we went to San Diego, and then we just got back from Austin. And then we got to see you, we got to initiate your program, now now 9 can travel more.
Yeah. I'm suspicious that you just left the cast after you visited me that one time. And not that no one else is a special guest on this. Everyone is special on this podcast, but I think we have an extremely special guest. He is a professor of African Studies at the University of Toledo. He is the founder of the Clubhouse organization, which all of us subscribers have donated a lot, and we've sent some kids to school already this year. And we've been doing some big, good things. Please meet my brother, Big Shinge. How you doing, man?
Hey, what up, man? Thank you so much for having me here. It's been, it's tough to say it's been like a dream for like something that your little brother started, right? Because you want to keep him in check. Right from the beginning, I've been trying to get on the show, and again, also since the cool scarves came in, I was like, I gotta do it so I can. I don't know what
I'm not wearing my scarf today. It's too fucking hot for that.
But yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Love the themes. Thought it was equal parts funny and poignant. So figured I'd be in on this discussion. Indeed.
Oh yeah, and we'll be getting into it. We'll be getting into that. And now to his right, we have the Hollow Man himself, Don Cheadle's driveway. Uh, he's also been traveling. It is Jeff. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited for this one. It was like I had heard things about it, but man, I can't believe how good it was. Definitely more people should be talking about this one. I also got to say, I personally did hate the Secret Invasion review with Dion so much that I'm glad he's not here. But other than that, I think it's gonna be a good podcast, guys.
Dion, there's still time. There's still time.
I love you, Dion. You know that, man.
Hashtag betrayed.
Also, Liz, welcome. We're glad that you got here for your first time. Excited. Hopefully, I won't fuck this shit up. I'm gonna.
And it's super hot in where she is too. I would not be able to stand that right now.
Oh, it's 100
unless it's a dry heat,
in Denver. There's like no escaping heat anywhere anymore.
Yeah, no, it's all fucked.
Yeah. I got my AC set to 70, and it's only brought it down to 72, and it's been like that for hours. So like, hey, that's good.
Well, things are definitely heating up as they do, as they are heating up in a hood called the Glen near you. Now, talking about this, I guess I could give a little synopsis or who's in it. It is John Boyega, Teyonah Parris, and Jamie motherfucking Foxx. And it's a debut, directorial debut by Jewel Taylor. Which is phenomenal. Like, if this is your breakout directorial debut, then let's go. Right? I'm ready to see whatever this guy makes next, and I was pretty surprised by that. Like, like this
being able to work with these first movie breakout, right?
Yeah, like Jordan Peele has like directed before, or like he was the showrunner of his own thing before, and had all of those. He was definitely well intertwined into show business before he did great Get Out, which I mean was still fucking phenomenal for his first film. And such a crazy change in tone. But yeah, this is I've been hearing that conversation that this can be seen a little Get Out-ish. Are you guys also seeing that too?
Yeah, but in all the right ways. Like, I think that we're always going to call back to Get Out because that was such a great moment for, Black sci-fi, genre cinema. But this takes that and kind of does it runs with it and does its own thing in such a really perfect sort of bubble kind of way. And yeah, I mean, you can see so many influences in this movie that are just so great and so perfect to pull from. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a situation where like Get Out walked so this can run.
Exactly.
And, but I would like fail. I would feel like it's a failure to like kind of diminish it to just saying like it's a Get Out type of clone. Yeah. Pun intended there. But
I agree with that.
Oh, sure.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's the way in which genres develop, right? It's within that same pocket, but it's it's not a clone. It's part of the same genre. And if anything, the movie that this reminded me a lot of, as when I watched it, aesthetically was Sorry to Bother You, right? That sort of. So I think Get Out is on the front end of this whole wave of movies that are sort of like that, and I think this is just a brilliant latest incarnation within that sort of space.
I think saying this is like the next Get Out or comparing this to Get Out is limiting in the sense that Get Out, while still one of the best movies to come out in years, is more of a one theme and one storyline, whereas this hits so many multiple themes and storylines, and it does so perfectly, So it's obviously there's some Get Out vibes, but I don't want to limit it to just saying it's Get Out, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And this is Joel Taylor for anyone who's interested. If you haven't seen what he looks like, he's how old is this guy? I think he's pretty young,
He's young,
too.
72?
That's
Yeah, he
very
looks
nice.
13 years old right there.
Yeah, he does.
Let's see
Well-
here. Age.
87.
1987.
So he's a year
yeah.
younger than me. He's 36. God damn.
Wow.
Oh, that's not fun for me, guys.
Oh,
I mean, do we really need,
money.
just kick this guy off.
Money.
I was gonna say, speaking of people that are 36, but that's not accurate. I'm sorry, Blake.
I'm headed there, but I look young. That's I can rely on my
Well,
good looks.
so I'm going to throw this one out there. This was something I was going to bring up much later. 9, could you pull up John Boyega's picture on IMDb? Because it still makes me laugh how young of a picture he fucking chose. I mean, like, you guys know me. I love checking out the IMDb rating and also the trivia. I didn't recognize Boyega because he looks like 14 and not 14, but he looks so fucking young in this picture. It's amazing.
Not gonna lie, yeah, he is baby Boyega.
The black
John
kids don't
Baby
look baby
Boyega.
faces.
You got to pull it up for
Right
everybody.
here.
John Baby
Oh my
Yeager.
gosh.
Right? Right?
Boy,
Right? Is that
baby.
from? Is that his picture from Protect the Block? Because that's how old he was in like Protect the Block. Like,
Yeah.
that was him.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that
pretty
picture of him
jarring,
now. It's like-
Yeah, it's
That
pretty
was-
jarring, dude.
That was him before he grew
Baby.
facial hair for the
I'm
movie. I
still
think.
mad at him though because he.
Blake, that was him before he could grow facial hair for a movie.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I really like how oh hey CC baby. I really like it's a blaxploitation. It's in the style of the blaxploitation film genre. It definitely has the undercover brother with
I was gonna say this
fried
is literally
chicken.
Undercover Brother, like
with the
but
General's
like-
fried chicken.
but like just
It
more
is
Afro-surrealism.
Undercover
That's literally
brother
what this is.
mixed with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
know what?
Shot
also-
on film.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
hood version of Stepford Wives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Bit of
good
that
way
in
of
there,
pulling it.
too.
Saying that.
Because people kept saying "Get Out," I was like, "No, this is like Stepford Wives. Like wherever there's like a pleasant town
Mhm.
of like mind-controlled people, and certain
Well-
people have to play a certain role over and over and over again. It's kind of like WandaVision, where she made these people play a certain role to
That's
keep the
true.
fantasy going. You know,
Yeah.
the drug dealer had to play a certain role.
It
The
is
pimp,
featuring Monica
everybody had
Rambeau.
to, yeah, everyone had to play their certain roles. So
Well,
was
and I
like,
could
"Nah, feel
see
like
why
Get Out."
people would overlook Stepford Wives because in that it was all the perfect little wife, as opposed to like, oh no, play your role as the pimp, the drug dealer, the hooker, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Stepford
and
Wives,
Jordan Peele actually said that Stepford Wives was a big influence on Get Out. So
Mhm.
it's
Oh.
all
Interesting.
All
comes,
roads
all
lead
comes
back
together.
Yeah.
because it's a circle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and I think maybe that's part of the brilliance of this whole thing, right? Because one of the things that it does very, very well is equal parts very hood-esque like references, like if you know, you know, right? So for example, I think somebody in the comments here spoke about how he was literally drinking Anaconda malt liquor. You guys know
From Black
Yeah.
Dynamite,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
they don't make that a thing, right? It's like if you know, you know. But if you
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know somebody's at the store looking for some anaconda. You know, like, hey man, y'all got an anaconda 40? They're like, what are you talking about? I saw it in a movie.
Yeah, Blake's right. The people at the liquor store looked at me like I was crazy today.
Anaconda. Right there. Yeah. If you get that, you know you're on one if you get one of those, right?
Right? Yeah. You have to have
You gotta pour a little bit out.
For the homies. Yeah.
But yeah, so all of the influences are definitely there. I was gonna say Undercover Brother with that that chicken.
Mhm.
Yeah.
General's
I'll
fried chicken.
probably pull
Yep.
up a
That's
clip with that. Now, I know everyone does want us to get into the breakdown and kind of like
No,
go
they
through
don't.
the film.
No, they don't. They don't. They didn't come here for that shit.
Everybody
came
What's your
here-
favorite malt liquor?
What's your favorite fictional malt liquor?
Everybody came here for it.
Ooh, 9 Nerd Yard liquor would actually. I think.
Ooh, I'm in.
Make it
Kind of rolls
slap.
off the tongue. Yeah.
I'll help with the taste test.
The 9 Nerd Yard malt. Okay.
It's probably not smooth, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit of
Put
a
that on the
our motto
bottle.
here.
Yeah.
That's the tagline. Not smooth but fun.
Literally. That's why people would buy it. Yeah.
E66.
I came here to talk. You.
Absolutely.
He must
Do
have been
all that.
following me on Twitter today. He must be kind of.
I actually do want to get to that a little bit
Uh-huh.
later. Blake will tell you the little era of internet beef that he started with none other than Heavy Spoilers. Paul from Heavy Spoilers. You
Well,
stepped
he's the
out.
only one. No, he's the only one who responded. I reached out. Heavy
You made him
spoilers.
feel pretty bad.
New
about
rock star.
himself.
I have to hear this.
We will definitely be getting into that when I bring that up.
Absolutely
now,
ruined
I
Batman's
do
morning.
want to talk about how this movie starts off, and it's with these guys talking in front of.
Well,
the
even before
car.
then, the white face, bro, the little white billboard,
face.
like.
Sorry, what's up?
I have this. Yeah, right here. This was haunting,
Well,
right?
thanks
Yeah.
for that nightmare
Yeah.
Zoom.
Do you guys need to zoom in over here? It's cool. We can do that.
Man,
That's right, Othelius. He did.
Like I think my clone of Blake has got too much of the hate in him. I kind of overstood. You know, I'm trying to
Right,
make
you were
everybody
in the,
part of the nation of hate. You know,
They were in our chat like, how about you take it easy, like. But we got this guy, who I'm gonna be calling the eyes.
The
of,
Jeff, it's cool.
Eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. You know what I mean? Feel me on that for all of you Great Gatsby fans out there. Now, we zoom out from this, and these guys are talking about Michael Jackson being seen at the Piggly Wiggly.
Facts. Facts.
And
I believed it.
This before. It's one of my my favorite ones. I think my favorite one is Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs, and then of course the Biggie and Tupac are still alive.
Fact? Yeah, I agree.
Reference. Yeah, or facts. Yeah, those are definitely facts.
We got the documents to prove they're all alive. I just want to know everybody. We all know that we got it.
But this also got me thinking about like how Jamie Foxx has been. The conspiracy theory is that Jamie Foxx.
Oh, the recent one
got sick earlier this year. It was pretty hairy. I thought we were honestly about to lose him from like what the news was stating, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And what he came out and said afterwards.
Mm-hmm. What did he say afterwards?
He confirmed that it was that serious, that dire. Like it wasn't just like some publicity stunt. He was like, "Yeah, you know, like I didn't want to talk about it, but yeah, it was that touch and go for a while there." I mean, we still don't know necessarily exactly what it was, but he did confirm it was serious.
Terry. It was Terry. On that clone shit, Terry.
Oh man, I was cracking up laughing when I was like, "Oh yeah, Jamie Foxx is in this." Wait, they're already making theories that he's a clone and he's gonna come out with a movie. Come on, why, bro? I would have been
the best self-promotion ever.
Right.
Well, the funniest part was
he only had to almost die for this movie to get some good promotion going.
if you're at Jamie's stage, you know, if you're at the stage that Jamie is in his career, and you got a movie with like John Boyega and Kiefer Sutherland, and you still need to do this crazy shit to promote your stuff, then you know there's a bigger problem.
Yeah, bigger problem.
Hollywood is dead at that
point. You gotta
point.
keep evolving with the times, you know. He pulled a Dave on us, a reverse. So maybe he didn't fake it. He just did a reverse Dave. It was like, hey, look, I almost died. Let's roll with it. Put it in the movie.
My favorite part was a big part of the reason people thought he was a clone was because just white people don't know what African Americans look like when they're pale. And they're like, well, clearly, look at this skin tone. That's not Jamie Foxx. It's like he just came out of the hospital,
Right, yeah.
life
That
and
blew
death
a lot of
situation.
people's minds.
Yeah.
He's just pale.
You
Right.
guys,
He clearly just came
you
out
guys
of
look
that.
sick
Kinds of
sometimes.
shades. Look at that. Look how pale I am, and when I'm like just nodding shades, like, come
Well,
on, man.
all right,
Man.
Terry, I'm going to throw out there.
You good?
Maybe don't let our resident clone be the one to be like, hey, look at different shades.
You know, I'm just fresh out the tank.
Listen, it is so hard to have a full body one shade. I am like 5 different Negroes at all times, so don't I can't speak on it.
Of course there was the Gucci Man one when he got out of prison. Those
Gucci
clone
Man.
theories were going wild too. So I have noticed that it is very much something in the Black community for when anything happens to one of our stars that it's a clone theory. Clone theory, like stamp, right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But we do follow along, and we actually do meet.
CC baby is feeling 9, huh?
Nine gets all. He's like,
Hey, girl, hey.
Time out. But we do follow up with we meet we meet John Boyega's character here, and a little bit of some important dialogue, probably some of the most important dialogue in this movie for like tying things together, and that's the
but it's one of them things.
SpongeBob, yeah.
It's one of those things that you can miss it, like right, like it's like Atlanta, right? Atlanta doesn't waste any dialogue, right? Like everything means something, everything is something, and when you watch it the first time, you're like, I don't know why he said. And then you watch the episode, and you're like, wait. I get it. So I did like that. I like the whole SpongeBob.
You want to break that down? You want to break down the SpongeBob reference?
I mean, the what I got out of it was the whole Bikini Bottom situation, right? Like it being an actual real thing, and it being, like, again, they ran all like the bomb experiments there, and so it's almost like you're looking at this like experimental grounds. They're referencing this fictional place, a fictional place that's actually based on a real place, which is they're in a fictional place that's actually based on a real place. It's all like one petri dish. Essentially, they're in the petri dish. So it's it's like multi-layered there, and I really, after the fact, and you're sweating. I know you're sweating because I got all these good comments about this.
CC baby was getting to him.
But yeah, that's what I walked away with after the fact. I was like, oh, what a good little line right there.
So the thing I like about the beginning of this movie, if you go into this movie with no prior knowledge, and unfortunately that means you also have to not know the title of the movie. The second Fontaine wakes up, you're like, what the fuck movie did I jump into?
Right. Yeah.
It's so cool because
and it's like
of
10 minutes in. It's like 10 minutes in. And you're like, wait, what? What is happening?
They set up a very different movie, and I just love that hard left they take. I thought it was such a great choice and such just a good what's the term I'm looking for?
Twist.
Not twist.
Shock.
The way to tell the story.
Narrative.
Sure. A good narrative. And just I like that the fact that they were like, hey, you know what? We're gonna just take you down this street, and we're taking a hard left onto what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I absolutely thought it was like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah,
getting a lot of vibes from that. I do want to go back
because
E66 did say he never smiles like Squidward. when he tried the fast food, his whole mood changed like when Squid ate the Krabby Patty. I wanted to touch on that too because, well, during the golden age of SpongeBob, there is
Tell us.
this episode where Squidward goes and lives in a society with all the other squid people, all the Squidwards.
All the Squidwards.
And at first he's okay with it, but then day by day he is becoming way more miserable by assimilation, right?
Ooh.
And I really think that is also working in tandem, like just to take that SpongeBob reference just a bit deeper, right?
Further, yeah,
And
I like it.
The kid calling him Squidward. I'm pretty sure y'all remember that episode.
No, I didn't watch
No.
that show.
No.
I watched a
But
lot of it, but I don't
y'all
remember
are-
that.
I think that goes.
Let me know
I'm
in the chat
older
if
than you, motherfucker.
Let me know in the
So-
chat.
I'm the same age
If
as you
guys-
guys. I remember that episode. 'Cause
So-
he would,
Still
like
remember
he would
it,
go
yeah.
he would go shopping, and then he'd do his little ballet every day, and then he would play the clarinet with the same 4 people. And it kept
Exactly,
going over
exactly.
and over, and then every day he would get sadder and fucking sadder, and like he was
Depressing
about to
cartoon.
kill
Exactly.
himself. I think that cartoon was about suicide a lot of times.
But I mean, it is about like
E66.
him,
I'm
you know,
86. I don't remember that shit. Oh yeah, I'm absolutely a fucking squid. Fuck you. Yeah.
but it also- but it
Don't make me get my clarinet out.
Well, yeah,
But-
it's that idea of that you know, the OG Tyrone at the end of the film is trying to say that, like, you know, black people need to be assimilated into the white culture, right? And then
Assimilation's
We
better
already
than
know.
annihilation.
exactly what he
Ooh,
said.
that was a
And
heavy
we
line.
already know
Right.
Yeah.
that assimilation is just going to be a lot more miserable for that individual in the first place because of this
Yeah.
episode of SpongeBob.
Well, I mean, not to jump ahead too much, but assimilation is just a slower form of annihilation.
Mm.
If you got to kill
Mm.
who you are to
Yeah.
continue living, are you still living?
That's
That's
true.
true.
That's
Right.
good. That's a good thing.
And I think that's a huge point, right? Which is to say, it's just, you know, you choose your way to die, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people say like this very immediate death, if you will, right? Like, you know,
Mhm.
I see myself dying like this, or I can buy myself some time, you know, or whatever, or have some pretense of an existence beyond this point, right?
Yeah.
Indeed, and that's what.
Like
And it
any
makes it-
existence is better than none.
And but it makes it even deeper that he was like, I'm not just doing this for me. It started off with me, but now I have to do this what I think is best for my people. And it's like, whoa, like for you. And he even said it, like I had to make a deal with the devil. And I was just like, like we are getting into some shit in this movie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Damn.
I don't want to jump ahead too
I know.
far, so I'll have more points when we get to there. But like, yeah, I mean, that's Tyrone was incorrect.
They cloned him though.
or it, and that's also
So what?
something I want to ask.
If you
later.
clone
If
me,
he
you're not
cloned
getting a
him-
winner. I have to assume he's Tyrone.
is
Fucker,
he not-
clone
is
me
he
and you're
cloned or
having a
is he
terrible
plugged
race.
in?
Tyrone is the last clone that you see in the movie.
Right.
Yeah. That's Tyrone.
That is
And I
Tyrone.
thought that was genius to kind of name the
Oh, I
movie.
didn't catch that.
Yeah, that they cloned Tyrone. Because that's
Mhm.
it's basically like the response that they have at the end is the movie's title. Like, huh, they cloned Tyrone. But I just thought it was clever. Because
Yeah.
Fontaine is the main clone that we're dealing with through, or versions of Fontaine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
Factuals,
Fontaine
factuals,
being the
factuals.
original. Yeah.
So maybe you guys can clarify this bit for me because that part threw me off, right? Because Tyrone is John Boyega, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So
for
he's
Fontaine
out of
is-
the movie L.A. John Boyega?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
Tyrone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
Tyrone.
LA John Boyega is Tyrone.
It's
Yeah.
Tyrone.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I also
Yeah.
needed clarification.
Okay.
Yeah, the
And
Ultimate
then,
Universe Miles Morales here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so does that mean then the clones are developing a different identity? Because
Mhm.
Fontaine is not Tyrone, right?
No.
But he's a clone of this guy.
So Fontaine is the control. Because I went back and watched it again just to make sure that I had it. So, like, you know how you have an experiment, and you have a control, and then you have everything else. So
Variables,
Tyrone is the variable. So Tyrone, or not Tyrone, Fontaine, the original, is the one that you see talking to Fontaine the clone, and those are all clones of Fontaine called Fontaine. But my theory is that in LA, and I don't even think it has to be a theory, I think it's just part of the movie, is that the LA clone is a different kind of experiment on the expansion of the hood. So it's like a different kind of hood, because you're not...
Which is why he has a different name.
Exactly, and hoods are different in each city. They're not... You're not going to get the same flavor of hood in every city. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, Old Boyega is Fontaine.
Is Fontaine.
Yes.
Boyega, we follow the majority of the film, is Control Fontaine.
Yes.
Every new hood is a variable Fontaine, and because of that, they have different names.
They have different names. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so they clone Tyrone.
We're watching it from the perspective of
Would that point to
on
the
in California who are like, oh shit, they cloned Tyrone because Tyrone
because they don't know Fontaine. They're like, hey man, they cloned you.
Okay.
They were like, oh,
Yeah.
So now they're starting to come to the realization that, oh fuck,
their neighborhoods are clones too. But
so
I mean, I feel like
that's literally like everyone.
We are the clones.
Right.
Like,
it's really interesting that this member of the panel says that.
Oh, I do remember this episode now because I remember the little girl Squidward thing. And I was like, oh.
Today. It just gets better and better all together.
He's ready to fucking kill himself.
Bad. I don't remember this episode.
You really
I
wanted
remember
to
this
be
one.
a Suicide Story. But yeah, so he's around all these different Squidwards, and that is basically the result of assimilation, is basically the ethno-state of SpongeBob, right? And what you could see as like the overall goal of OG Fontaine. And I when you guys are on that subject about their names and who is Tyrone and who is Fontaine actually, or who the OG is, I think it's most likely going to be like the old one is Fontaine, because Fontaine, he's like the source, the water source or whatever.
That makes sense.
Are we even sure his name was Fontaine?
But that's also what I'm trying to figure out.
No.
Because I have a theory that the old guy that we seen, is actually also like a clone.
Oh.
Oh wow!
No.
They had a clone of him.
This shit.
Wait. Then if he is, he's the first clone because he has memories of cleaning up his younger brother's body, which means he's, or not, if not the first clone, at least an early clone, because then it was before they were like, hey, let's filter these thoughts out.
Right.
So if that's the case,
I think there's got to be someone that is able to relegate all of the different organizations. And I thought it was kind of like strange that this guy, if they have like bases in LA, Chicago, all of these bigger cities, then why is this one at like this bump up nowhere town?
Because that was the original place his brother died.
So
he never left.
Yeah.
Because that's the original. That's the original clone hub. So he's probably sticking around to make sure it works out.
Right, and the original hood. Yeah.
I will say it did say. I watched the movie with the subtitles, and it did say Old Fontaine when he talked. I remember that because it made me giggle.
Old Fontaine. Yeah.
That's Old Fontaine.
I love it. It didn't make you laugh. It made you straight up giggle. A teeny.
You got a little chortle. You got a chortle out of him. Now where were we?
Do you guys think that? Okay, so we got like, there's these hoods in Chicago, LA, New York, blah blah blah. Do you think there's like multinational ones? And if so, are they also using people of African descent?
I don't know, because he did say something about the barrio and Chinatown, right?
Yeah,
right.
He did.
So I kind of feel like maybe they had one for all the other different races, and they're just trying to make everybody. Because like, why are you just gonna just make the black people white when you're gonna have like a lot of Hispanics coming up and a lot of Asians coming up?
That's why I said I'm
Like-
Tyrone's clone. Like I don't know why y'all didn't
I
listen.
think they're doing it to everybody.
Well, I think to Terry's point, I think different communities, right, have their different pathologies, right? Which is to say, if it was about the barrio, maybe the same figures would be there too, but maybe like the pimp and the hoe and the drug dealer are the typecast or the archetype of the black community, right?
Yeah.
So maybe if you had I don't know too much about these other communities enough to say like this would be the archetypal figure there, but it might be like a gang bang.
We got pimps and hoes in the Mexican community. I'll give you that. I'll tell you that.
Wait, who's Mexican?
I'm Mexican.
Oh yeah,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm
So, fun
underneath the
fact,
skin.
I'm the only white one on the show.
Oh.
Heads up.
Great question, though. I just use this to trick the cops. That's it.
It just helps with my credit score. Is all.
It helps me.
You
did a good
what?
Just
Which is great because I make terrible decisions. I probably got the worst credit score on the show.
Oh my god.
we went there. We went there.
yeah.
Well, what if you're a biracial vegan? You're not gonna eat that chicken.
Nah, baby.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You still got to get your hair done.
But yeah, but you gotta get your hair done.
The hair stuff.
And it's then the grape drink. Grape drink's vegan. That's not made with anything living.
That's true.
It's not
Yeah,
made
we
with gas.
hope.
Let's talk about this chicken
Which
commercial.
also-
Grape drink.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
protein.
Oh yeah.
This chicken commercial was so undercover brother right here.
Can we talk about how
Oh, that's
I
what
was
you
eating
thought?
chicken
Oh,
when
man.
this shit was on? Like that's the worst fucking meal.
So-
If you haven't watched this and you're still wanting to watch it, don't eat chicken while watching this.
Terry was eating chicken.
Dude, I had chicken strips and chicken wings. I had like the 3-on-3 where you get like the 2 different types of fried chicken.
The full black meal.
9. That commercial made me think of. Have you ever seen the commercial Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what that commercial made me think. It was so much of a caricature. It was like that's immediately where my mind went.
Yeah, it's that undercover brother chicken commercial that they did too, and that was one of the funniest parts. Yes.
That is. My favorite part is when the woman is
Malt liquor, absolutely free.
Get that shot of her double legging it.
Wait, there's also. Can you bring up the clips from the Boondocks about their chicken with the chicken epidemic?
Guys,
Let me see here if I can pull it
I
up.
just love thinking of that actress using that for her acting reel whenever she sends out.
Oh, why do I want chicken so bad now?
Because you're a person, and because you have feelings.
That's right.
Yeah, because Terry made that sound so good. Chicken
you talking
fingers.
about the chicken riot?
Yeah.
Terry?
Yeah. That's the one.
How y'all had a chicken?
Civil unrest explodes in several major American cities. Reports of fires, looting, and violence in the streets, all over a fast food promotion gone terribly wrong. As the first customers tasted the new secret recipe, reviews were stellar.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely,
my God.
absolutely. Now, was that
Yeah.
released around the Popeyes incident, chicken sandwich incident, or what?
I think
Oh,
so.
it must have been earlier
that
than that,
predates
right?
that, right?
Yeah, I think
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
the Boondocks was way earlier than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Boondocks was long gone by the time that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
just
No, it was during that that KFC when they
The
were
Double
they made
Down?
when they made the new baked chicken or some shit.
Oh,
that
It's
chick.
always.
And
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
but they
no
remember
one
they printed
asked
out all
for it.
those coupons for it.
yeah,
And they're
like it was
you can
free.
get
It
chicken.
was free.
And then everybody lost their mind because they ran out of chicken. They're like, how y'all gonna run out of chicken, my baby? Y'all ran out of chicken. That
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think I think that this is a good time to say
You were there.
I know I was there. I was there. No, I didn't love this movie as much, I think, as everyone else on the panel did.
Oh yeah.
And
You did watch it, right?
Now, I did love a lot of things about it, but this was this was one of the things that kind of like, took it down a notch for me, where it felt kind of derivative of like Boondocks and Undercover Brother, because like that's all I thought about when I saw it. I was like, oh, Black Dynamite. It's like there's so many movies over the course of like 20 years that have done something like this, and it was one of the parts of the movie that just wasn't as cool to me. But there was a lot of cool shit in this. I just
You're
didn't
about to
love
be
it.
on my Twitter hit list, Drunk.
So I gotta say, Alex,
Yeah.
I think this movie for you is like, for me, the first time I saw Hot Fuzz, because I was like, it's just so derivative. It's just what we've seen every time.
Mhm.
And then I realized, and then when I rewatched it with the mentality of like, oh, because the point is making fun of all those stupid fucking movies, made it so much better for me.
Right. Well,
That's when it hit it out of the park. You know?
That's where it's a little different for me, because this isn't really necessarily satirizing dumb movies. It's
just
like
pulling.
homaging really great movies. I mean, Undercover Brother isn't a really great movie, but
I felt like the point of it was satirizing, or at least being satirical about all these movies about like, oh, this is what white people think black culture is. I mean, like one of the things I read on the IMDb trivia is that's even why, like, although it's clearly in the modern era, they're all wearing like, I mean, Jamie Foxx is like a 70s pimp.
yeah.
And the point of it is because that's how white people think of black people in movies, or black pimps, or and it was like, oh my God, that makes his entire ensemble so much funnier.
Yeah, and that's it, because also Teyonah Parris' character, she was also dressed like she was in the 70s. Even the set design,
Foxy Brown type.
Even
right.
Even Yo-Yo, her character, and I don't remember Jamie Foxx's pimp's name.
Slick.
But they had
Slick Charles.
Slick Charles.
Mhm.
They had 70s style like guns too,
Yeah.
like those
Right, yeah, the little
exploitation, his
revolver.
tiny,
Gold revolver.
tiny gold gun.
Well, look, Blake said this in our chat, and he was like, it's a black movie with a character named Junebug in it.
Bro, every time, every TV show, every hood movie is always somebody named Junebug.
There's always somebody named Junebug. It's not a stereotype. It's just fact at this point.
And like that's the roles we've gotten in Hollywood all throughout the years. We would be pimps, drug dealers, and
Junebug.
And Junebug. And like and guess what? Some magical old Negro man that can tell you the truth and help you on your journey.
A magical Negro.
Right?
You
So
even have to
they really did hit all the marks of what black people have been typecast.
And you even have to pay him with a little bit of liquor here and there.
Yeah.
We were missing a mammy type. That's the only thing we were missing.
By the way, I'm sorry to go completely off topic. Terry, I just noticed your fantastic, crochet behind you. I don't know what to call that thing that you've made.
That's a tufted rug by, I made me a carpet. I make carpets.
I know you did. I know you
Carte
did.
blanche?
And I saw that you displayed it, and I had to point it out.
What'd you name him? Junebug?
Any One Punch Man fans out there, let me know.
Go ahead, Shanky.
$200.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's very interesting, right? To the point that Kevin Bacon is making here, which is to say, I'm sorry, I'm just getting, I'm just going off by the name.
Good, I love it.
Yeah, that's the point. Go with it, man.
All right. Which is to say that, as you're talking about, this is how white people see, the black community. Something that stuck out to me, right? Which again, Othelius here references when it says, "You ghost of Christmas past ass nigga," right?
Yeah.
And I feel like in some of the more like
fantastic line delivery.
quote unquote like hood movies, the references are typically sort of drawn from within that space. Whereas, like, I feel like every single pop culture reference that was explicitly made, there's some implicit stuff like the anaconda and the song in the church being back that thing up at the end, right? But the explicit things that were said, Nancy Drew, SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo, Kevin Bacon, Ghost of Christmas Past, right? I had a whole list of them, like numbering like maybe like a dozen, were all like mainstream references, right? A lot of which you could even call like white references, right? But definitely mainstream references. And it kind of makes me think like, I don't know what you guys made of that, right? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
There's probably an inroad and a practical reason for doing that, right? But yeah.
Yeah,
So
I absolutely
one
agree.
of the ones that I caught was, at the church, it wasn't wine; it was the grape drink.
Well,
But-
well,
Well, I guess what he's saying,
traditional wine. It was.
This is one of the lines that I think also maybe Shangy's talking about here. When can you guys hear that?
it's a little low, yeah.
Okay, seasonable. Everybody know that.
So like that blockchain is that one of the kind of like references that you were on, Thingy, or was I actually want to? You got that list in front of you?
I think that would be a good addition to that.
Yeah, I had Nancy Drew, Holloman, Goldilocks situation. SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo,
I see.
Right? All these things that I feel like, it wasn't a reference to Boys in the Hood. It wasn't a reference to Undercover Brother. It is not explicit, right?
I'm sorry.
But it's almost as if there's this negotiation with, these are things that you guys will know, right? I don't know. There's something there, but I can't quite.
I feel like maybe he was trying to say, don't box these black people in. Look at all these other things that they can relate to and know about and pull from. Like, look at them. They're not pulling from hood sources. They're pulling from... Or maybe they were pulling that stuff because, how the guy said he was trying to make them more white. Maybe we were seeing their more whiteness come out slowly. It could be a couple different things.
I think it's funny because
they weren't trying to do that with Yo-Yo because they were like, "Oh, we don't give a shit about it."
That's what I think. That's very interesting, is because Yo-Yo is the one that's making a lot of those references, and she's not a clone. Right.
Yeah.
And she's never been a clone, so she has like her own like upbringing, childhood experiences.
Her own memories.
This comment right here.
And
I think we all noticed that one.
I think this is a very profound comment, right? Yeah, about black people knowing white culture, not the other way around, right? And it speaks to this idea of black what we call double consciousness, right? Which we might have spoken about before. That, like, double consciousness as a black person in the U.S., you are black and you are American, right? So it means there's like you have this is a W.E.B. Du Bois theory from back in the day, right? This idea that you have your black existence, then you also have to be able to finagle your way in the mainstream thing, right? It's just interesting to see it not be in a code switching way, just that like that the dude the muscle that went with Fontaine to the lab. That's when they said, like, I think we have ourselves a Goldilocks situation here. I'm like, what?
Right.
That's
That's
true.
Absolutely. I do want to talk about this introduction to these characters, Jamie Foxx and Yo-Yo, because I feel like right then that's when I just had I was like, oh, I know that I'm in for a good time with these guys. Just dropped into the middle of the situation, or into the middle of this argument, I should say. We have Jamie Foxx right here. Obviously, he's just in his bag when he's playing that him character,
right?
And it is very reminiscent of Superfly. I'm pretty sure Jewel Taylor did say that it is
he did.
homage. Like, his outfit is definitely pulling from Superfly, and it's very easy to see where this is going. It looks like they're in the same goddamn hotel room.
It's that classic hood hotel.
And just this whole like,
Come right back.
he's just the delivery of these guys is just so awesome. Talking about layaway plan for the drugs that he's not going to pay back. And then this is when also where I was just like, okay, I love when a movie is just able to, you know, switch between hilarity and this intensity right at the drop of a hat. And this scene, like, you wouldn't expect there to be just the static shot scene of Fontaine contemplating what he's about to do with these knowing that, you know, his time's kind of up, that Isaac is right behind him. He's going to get out, look his ops in the face, and he's going to make it, you know, he's going to go out on his feet or whatever.
Yeah.
And like we sit with them for like a minute here.
It builds that tension right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we all felt uncomfortable in this scene, right?
Well, that's what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so like,
because it's almost like you're sitting in the car with him and you're
exactly
100%
passenger right there. It
it was just incredible. It was probably the best shot of the whole movie. Like just the way it set up the tension
it was a
and
gorgeous
like the
shot.
way like it was incredible.
Well, what I found interesting is that every time like a gun is used, it, you know, this could have been like just a slugfest with like people just returning fire and it's just like everywhere bullets are flying. But every time a gun is used, it has this very purposeful, dramatic effect. Starting with Fontaine getting shot. Later in the movie, there's the shot of Fontaine, you know, shooting at his tank, and like the camera's like wobbling and everything, and you can like just feel the intensity of that. Or even like silly moments where,
especially coming after that,
accidentally
showing
shoots
the bulletproof
the
glass.
Right, exactly.
Oh
And
God,
I felt like that's good.
The scientist scene was my favorite. I laughed out loud, annoyingly loud to that.
Well, just to kind of build on what you guys are saying, Nine and Alex, with this scene, I thought it was really cool in that it felt quiet, even though there was ambient noise. You know, you had the radio still going. You could hear him breathing. You could hear them kind of pull up and him cock that gun. But it felt very, very closed in and very intimate in that space. Because again, you feel like you're the passenger. And I think that what's cool about movies that are shot and directed and written through a Black lens about Black subjects is that I think the vast majority of people assume that drive-bys and pull-ups are loud, you know, ruckus movie-like things, and they're not. Somebody pulls up behind somebody, pops them, and they're gone. And then they're just laying there in their car in the street, and it's not this big, huge shootout cowboy town type of shit.
Right.
So I love that's included in this. Like, it's quieter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're also just like showing off the cinematography of it. You know, being shot on film,
neon,
which just like looks
the graininess of it was so just like,
and that adds to the blaxploitation homages that they're trying to fit into, right? Making it kind of look like that grittiness.
And
I love this line.
Kirsten, to build on what you were just saying, I mean, like one of the biggest things you get out of like the common response is like, how could the police not find the man? And it's like, because it's quick, it's quiet, it's not what you think. It's not a spectacle.
No,
it's commonplace
out there.
Yeah, it's just like this isn't a stupid thing someone did. This is calculated, and
then who is
and also snitches get stitches. I'm not
right. Tim Charles isn't calling the cops.
No. With all them hookers in there, he is not calling a goddamn person. He had drugs in an air conditioning vent.
So
no, this
is actually, it brings up a question that I have about the movie.
It better be a good one.
It's I mean that's for you guys to decide, I guess. I'll be asking stupid questions, but is this the first time that a clone was killed in the hood?
That is
'Cause-
one of my
Ooh.
gripes about the movie.
No.
I was going to get this to that later on, but go
Yeah.
ahead. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
no,
Whoever wants to
that was
answer
honestly just like my main, just the
No,
question.
I didn't
because
even
like,
think about that. Yeah.
because I was like, okay, this is cool, but like, is this the first time they built this neighborhood to make it seem like it's very dangerous? People get killed all the time. So, and I know that everyone in the hood, I mean, in this neighborhood, isn't a clone, but is this the first time a clone got killed? Because
I don't think
Right,
I,
like how do
I don't
you
think
like
no.
hide that from the non-clones? To be like, if I'm hanging
Okay.
out with John Boyega and I see the ops roll up and bop bop bop, they get him like, oh, they got my dude. I gotta run out of here.
right,
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden he's back on the street again, and I'm like,
and he has
Yeah.
no memory of it. It's like,
bro, I just
like,
saw you
okay.
got lit the fuck up. What are you talking about?
Here.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it
That's-
does seem like a contrivance.
I feel like
Yeah,
we
I
had to
would-
like suspend our disbelief a little
Yeah,
bit.
Well-
with that
Definitely a plot
writing.
contrivance.
I
That
don't
was-
think we do if we accept the fact that the clones were cloned from birth.
Clone from
If
birth?
if Fontaine was cloned as an infant, lived
Mm.
out Fontaine's entire life,
Mm.
then no, it can't be that though because
No,
Fontaine
because
No,
his mom
it
was
can't be that.
paper.
because he doesn't
That
remember
makes
cleaning the
even
blood off
less-
his younger brother.
You about to
Well, and all
confuse your
that's
damn self,
done-
man.
When all that's
Yeah.
undone later, when you find out that his mother's voice that you keep hearing is a
Mhm.
tape
Yeah,
recorder.
exactly.
So,
Well, because the thing is, like,
Can't
the
re-
only way I could see that being like, hey, no one's been like accidentally murdered here was
Yeah.
if like, oh, we didn't like clone you like, hey, you're this exact age. If it was like, oh, hey, like we put you all in there at 2.
9, go down one.
Maybe
But-
This one,
okay.
this right
That's-
here.
Yeah, I
This
already
right
have
here-
this pulled up right now.
Yeah.
Because there is the theory, which Filmage is talking about here, is that when our new clone of Fontaine wakes up, that he
I thought that was the
notices
old one.
that's the old
this-
one, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that was the
he's
thought.
looking at his old clone right here, which
Mhm.
I don't know if I can subscribe to that theory.
Right, I thought he did.
It's
Well,
not a theory. It's
but-
in our face. We got the
But then,
documents.
but
Why?
then
'Cause he
it
looks
comes
like
to
he got
Alex's
shot up.
point.
He did
But
get
then it
shot up,
comes
but,
to
like,
Alex's point because they don't have
how?
contingencies for this.
Right? Like how
Yeah,
that's the
are
only
they that
possibility.
sloppy?
Nah, but
Yeah.
he
Right?
can't be the first
I
one
feel
dead.
like this is kind of where the movie falls apart at a little
no,
bit.
no.
Like
Here's
if,
the thing.
it's a bit of a contrivance here. If this is Fontaine here, then how is he not like back at a facility yet? How is this one already decanted and put back in bed, but
Mm.
this one is still somehow roaming the streets?
I love
Is
that
it,
it's
like,
decanted, by
automatic?
the way. Well,
Mhm.
so here's my thing.
Like
Here's
maybe
my
they
thing.
monitor his health, and so they know that old
No,
font,
like,
the
they-
other one
I feel like
died.
they pick him up because
This-
the old one well later in the movie when they
Old
sneak
Tane.
into the facility, they use the fact that they are able to get one and then decant the other at this,
So-
pretty seamlessly there.
Well, so here's my thing. To answer Alex's question, no, this is not the first one killed, and here's
Mhm.
why. Why would you have extra clones? Why would you have the extra clones in the Glen, in the city,
Mm.
if they hadn't already like, oh fuck, god damn it, that one walked in front of a train.
Right. He got in a car accident.
Well,
Like-
Who
But
knows?
it's like they're
But
not
that's the
even trying
thing.
to hide the fact that people will see that this dude died somehow and be
Right.
like, "Why is he back again?"
People
I
are gonna
saw
be
you get hit by a
emotional.
train.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like,
it's like people are gonna
Probably
start
because-
planning your funeral and shit, and then
Probably because-
Probably
Probably because the powers that be in this movie,
Mhm.
the powers that be in this movie don't think of these black people as having any intelligence whatsoever. So they're probably like, well, they watched him die, and then they're just gonna accept the narrative that we spin for him.
Like,
I think
No.
that's what it
Yeah.
is.
like characters from
Maybe.
Idiocracy. They're just like, oh, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Like-
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like the only way to like fix this would have been to kill the guy that killed Fontaine, the guy that was in the car with him, Sweet Charles, and the hookers in the room. With Sweet.
or
Like,
erase
you would
their
have had to
memories or
murder.
something.
I don't think they do. They have that possibility. I would
They have the
assume,
possibility to implant memories.
yeah, but it sounds like it's a lot easier to just be like dead. New batch.
New batch of clones.
Well, like this
I
would
guess. I
happen
don't know,
literally every single time that someone died. Then and there was a new
Yeah,
one.
you'd have to
This-
rotate the whole hood out.
Well, they had him
You're gonna
cloned.
say Ghost to a pimp.
That was the funniest part.
It was one of my favorite movies. This fucking
Or-
like he
or
is
was
Olympia Black.
Olympic.
Or was it
you
that?
Ghost of Christmas Past ass nigga.
Maybe
Uh,
I guess we can. I guess we can say maybe there's like tracks, and they're playing a song called "He Ain't Really Die Today." He ain't really die
Well,
today. You're listening
Right,
to it, you're like,
yeah.
no, yeah, he didn't really
Yeah.
die today, and
right.
Or
I did. I love
That's
the
the hot in your joint.
ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say I did love the needle drops in this movie. They were all great. Even a childhood favorite, take them 12 white folks and take that shit to trial. That really brought me back to my childhood. But yeah, the music was solid.
Mm,
What were you about to say?
Mhm.
so
Oh yeah, great choice.
the only other thing I can think of with this is this Fontaine did something that, according to the script, no Fontaine has done before.
That's what I feel is a bit of a contrivance, right? Like,
Yes.
how is it? Well,
I agree.
throughout
He's
the
Neo in the
movie,
Matrix.
the only thing, one of my biggest gripes about this movie is that it never felt as if our trio did something in particularly some like phenomenal to which they're uncovering this plot. It did feel like a lot of other people could have walked in on this whole
Could have
thing.
figured this
before.
out, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
gotta-
and that's probably
It
like,
wasn't hard for
my
them to
main
find these
thing.
places. The trap
it
houses.
wasn't like too hard or anything. And there was some moments where they are like under the facility or like underground, and they manage to get out or like sneak in. Where I'm like, if they're surveilling the whole Glen, like how is
Yeah.
it like this?
because this
like-
was like a Nancy Drew Scooby Doo mystery to where it's
Yeah.
Right. So like I'm willing
Yeah.
to like suspend my disbelief and like
Right.
let that shit go. But at the same time, I also would have loved to see them, figure out ways to get past those things.
Right.
And mostly because I love the characters. I would have loved spending more time with the characters, with them, figuring those little details out, right?
The only thing that makes sense in my mind is Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon. They're just so fucking arrogant.
Mhm.
Olympia Black. All right, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't got to worry about anything outside of this because I could just say these two words. And so the only thing I got. God damn, Bernie with the Mac. Yes. The only thing I can think of is just the powers that be got overly arrogant, which I could also see happening considering like with how old Fontaine is. They've been doing this for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also that just makes me not buy it as much because like they've been doing this for a long time, but y'all are this sloppy. Like how is
Unless
this?
like
first
this
time
clone
is
program is completely new, right? But then it's like how long has Fontaine, that clone, lived within the Glen, right? That
Right.
is able
Yeah, that
to
is a good
develop
question.
relationships and
right.
Also, remember, old Fontaine was telling new Fontaine, however we want to describe him, that like the guy in the facility, the manager at the chicken shack, all that shit, that was their
experiments.
first try
Yeah.
at cloning. That they're fucking stupid. They can do basic tasks and that's it.
Mhm.
So maybe it was just they gave too many of those tasks to these
Idiot clones.
these like dumb clones.
Were they clones? I thought they were like the new like
These-
generation of people that were supposed to be like black people who black
Yeah, they
people
just been
turned white.
assimilated.
So these
Yeah.
guys
That's what I
here
thought,
are
They weren't clones.
the transitions people.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're transition.
They
Okay.
are the transition ones.
But
and
but
that-
still,
Well,
clones, whatever.
but
They,
either
they
way,
come from a
the
laboratory.
hair is stubborn. Is
But
what
he was saying he
uh,
couldn't get the
Fontaine
hair
says.
to breed out of him.
Right.
Well-
Hair is very stubborn.
Okay.
And old Tane said like, yeah, they're
Old
not
Tane.
good. They're a failure. Like, hey, this is just like the step this is a progress thing, you know.
So he was saying that there are like white people already out there who are actually originally black.
I guess I got
that's
it
what
as
he was-
like they were the
that's-
first generation of clones that weren't
Because
good.
he wasn't trying to make clones. He was trying to breed out the black gene, like breed out melanin and make you do white things, you know?
Y'all just hate me because I'm
And
like,
he was saying, like, you know, these first people, like the manager, he couldn't breed out that Negro hair. You can't get that. It's stubborn, you know, no matter how much you mix them. You could, and that's the thing. That was always the thing. He's like, oh, I can tell that baby got some black in it. Look at the hair. That was always the thing.
oh, I don't know if it's good for me to laugh at that, but that was funny.
But yeah, the hair is stubborn.
That's true. Woo.
So that
Oh
is
my God.
that is an interesting bit, though. But I also have to wonder what the sort of real life parallel that they were going for might have been, right? Which is to say, how long is some shit happening
Yeah.
before all of a sudden we catch wise to it, like, oh, this is what's been going on, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
this is obviously in a more like cartoonish movie world type thing, right? But I don't think it's unheard of, right? That would be like, why are we still talking about this right now? Like, this has been in place for like 100 years now, you know, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And indeed, so there's maybe a little bit of that as well, you know.
It's all of that. It's all of
so
that.
The interesting part is when you think about like, hey, Yo-Yo wasn't a clone. So Yo-Yo aged normally, and then these people started coming into her life. But she's in an area where the majority of people are clones. So it's kind of interesting to try to figure out how that all went down.
Yeah, like I feel like there's prequel potential for this for sure.
Yeah, or is she a product of two
oh.
clones?
Fuck yeah.
So maybe two clones that had a baby. Because if you've cloned a human, the human would be a human. They're just a clone of a human, but they would still have all the working parts. I'm not trying to get into a whole anatomy thing, but they'd be fucking. I mean, they'd have
because of semen and eggs.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like everything would get cloned, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hey, Alex.
What did I walk into?
Fun.
Clones
But
be
you know what
weird.
I mean? Like they wouldn't be sterile unless you made the clones sterile.
Which I mean, like that's been some movies, but
Yeah.
well,
they didn't mention
so
that.
again, if we agree that Old Tane is the original Fontaine,
Old Tane.
I mean,
Old
it's just so
Tane.
much fun, right? Then the longest this has gone is 40 years, so maybe 2 generations of clones. So that is enough to have a clone baby, a Clayby, if you will.
Clayby.
A Clayby, and
One
I
of my
must,
favorites.
I think.
It's one of my favorite lines too. There's so many
How
good
many?
lines from Sling Charles. How many adventures has this bitch been on? Because she has like stacks.
Yeah.
I really love Teyonah Parris's portrayal here. Her character of Yo-Yo.
Best character in the movie.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's pretty fun. And just kind of like, we've seen her as Monica Rambeau in the MCU, and she's she plays such like a stilted character in that. So like having her be in like just a big personality,
Have a whole bunch of
so
energy.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
I-
energy and
Yeah,
charisma
really
is
shine.
awesome.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Teyonah Parris for a long. Like, I loved her as Coco in the Dear White People movie.
Yes.
And
She's perfect. As
she's
Coco.
incredible. So like, I've kind of been like, and I liked her in Candyman as well. Like, and
Still haven't seen that.
Oh.
I really liked it.
I'm sorry. Did Nine just say he hasn't seen the new Candyman?
I have not seen the new Candyman.
I haven't.
God.
y'all,
Why,
we've-
bro?
we've-
You live in
we've-
complete
Can we all
green.
watch this tomorrow and break it down? I love this movie
Damn,
so
Terry.
fucking much.
Wow.
What did you say?
I said, you haven't seen Candyman? You living in Cabrini Green right now.
I'm for real into Glenn right now. So hopefully this gets fixed by tomorrow.
Fun fact: when they were making the new U.S. Cellular Field, Comiskey Park, they would try. They couldn't work at night anymore because people started shooting out the construction lights.
Damn.
They were annoyed by being kept up.
Well, no, I don't blame him on that one. Like, shut that shit off. It's midnight.
Chicago.
Mm.
God, I miss
Chicago.
Chicago sometimes.
Yeah, we got ourselves a little Goldilocks situation here.
Oh
And I
my
love that
God.
dude. I actually need to be that dude right now with this fucking little handheld doohickey that he always got
Man,
on him.
I feel so bad for you, brother. Oh
It
man,
is so hot, bro. It is so hot. I'm kind of miserable right now. But
that's where you get one of those styrofoam coolers. You poke holes in the lid, put a bag of ice on top, and a fan behind it.
Mm.
And every time that fucker melts, you freeze it and put it back on top.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that actually does work.
That was college Jeff, poor person AC.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite lines, probably my favorite line from John Boyega is, "What would that Scooby Doo bitch do?" Nancy Drew. Bitching them books.
But yeah, see that type of mystery. Scooby Doo and Nancy Drew.
It's just I don't know. What would that Scooby Doo bitch do?
Yo, Ophelius, yes. I was just thinking of that scene.
This line right there. Yeah.
I swear I am.
Oh yeah.
Pull up.
You should come up.
Wasn't fighting people like it was a party.
Come through.
Oh, yeah,
Like
bring
why?
Shawty through.
Like why did you pull up to that place?
No, y'all should pull out. To be honest.
I gotta be honest.
I'm curious what the conversation we had was like on the other side of the phone. It's like, I have so many questions. You're underground, you say?
The part
Nah, just get here, man.
underground,
Here's
bro.
my thing. Just to say I was smoking underground in this crazy government facility, you know?
Oh yeah, it's a flex. It's a flex.
It's big flex. You can take all the Instagram pictures there.
If you know enough people, we all have a friend like that. That's like, I'm at a warehouse party in the middle of Tribeca. You should come through. And it's like, you know, I live in Las Vegas, right? Wait, what am I going to get on a plane and get all the way out there? No.
Yeah.
So, Kirsten, remember to share your pictures from that warehouse party.
I mean, that's how the old school Fantastic Fest parties were like. You know?
Oh, shit.
Now, because the pimp's blood pressure was low, they go to the chicken spot, and this is when they put two and two together, and Slick Charles is able to realize that the powder that he had last night is having the same effect on people that are trying to chicken around the laboratory. Fontaine actually starts laughing for like once, and that really freaks everybody out, of course. And he just can't help it.
There is a moment in this movie this scene that I want to become like an iconic GIF. Like the moment where John Boyega like throws the chicken in his mouth and smiles. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
oh
I
my
want
God.
that.
That was
that moment.
I
was
knew
right
exactly
in my
what
head.
you were talking about. The
bro.
moment you said there's a scene in this, and there's a part in this, I was like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
That's gonna be the new like Club Zemo. Like I want
Right.
that.
Oh,
that
man.
energy. Let me see if I can.
Oh, he's so happy.
I think he
So
might
happy.
be. This might be
Give him an
it.
Oscar for that moment.
Just and then Sweet Charles does it, and but the best part is Sweet Charles has it hanging out his mouth after he does it, like
Slick Charles.
Slick Charles. I'm so
Sweet
sorry.
Charles, another
Charles.
pimp.
Like Sweet Charles.
I mix him up with Sweet D, I guess. I don't know.
you know a lot of pimps, Kevin Bacon. Seems like you're confusing.
You know, I don't think we need to get in my financials tonight.
That's another podcast.
That's Wise Jeff. That's the podcast. Wise Jeff's credit rating so low.
300. God damn.
There.
Before you know it.
So goddamn happy.
So you figured out that it's in the chicken. Are you still taking that chicken to go? Because you're safe in the car. Give
Right,
it away.
I mean,
All right, we'll make the GIF happen. GIF is going.
Kirsten, is it
has to
regular
have
chicken
No,
or is it
has to have
spicy?
It's my favorite.
If it's Nashville style hot chicken, I'm taking it in the car.
I mean, we all know the
If it's-
secret ingredient is mind control. So
If
does it
it's-
matter if it's spicy or original?
If it's KFC, no, I'm leaving that in the fucking restaurant.
I mean,
So-
it's yeah.
Yo-Yo seduces the team leader, also sticking with the theme that it's a white dude with an afro, with like all of the other establishments, and I really like.
There's no, I ain't got.
See, I
to.
really love this. There's no line, goddamn. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. So Yo-Yo figures out that like the whole Glen is being surveilled, and so they are able to trail to the a van carrying all of the other chemicals to a salon, and which they know that they're putting it in the perm boxes. These
why you
devious
don't get a perm.
motherfuckers.
So natural, do that big chop.
And one of my like favorite visual gags, I think, come from this part here, and it is when Isaac recognizes that Fontaine is alive.
Oh yeah.
And they all show up with their apron capes, their barber
Yeah,
apron
yeah.
capes. Goddamn, bro.
Oh my god, that was
And,
so
Like they were
funny.
in the
And-
chair and got out of it.
The fact that there's all of them are there, right? They all were in the chair at the same time. First of all, I'm going to call bullshit on that, because if you know how goddamn hard it is to even get a barber to show up for one appointment,
We've all seen how Vinny
but
works.
then all of them are at the chair at the same goddamn time. Yeah, fucking right. It just doesn't work that way.
Also, he's one of my newest favorite actors. If you haven't seen him, he stars as Lil Murder in the greatest show ever, P Valley.
Oh, really?
That's
No, I
Oh.
haven't
on
seen
my
it yet,
list.
but
I need to watch that.
Oh yeah, none of y'all watch. Oh, we gotta
I've
watch
not.
P Valley and start breaking it down. That is an amazing work of art right there.
I've heard it's really good. Yeah.
When he called him Lazarus, I about lost it. I was like, oh dear God.
But this is my favorite visual gag right here.
It was so good.
Right.
Yeah.
There-
Like just the subtle genius of that part is just, I don't know. I loved it. I loved it so much.
oh god, because the best part is like, that's also what anyone would think. It's just like,
Are you touching
Uh,
your dick? Are you just touching your dick at me?
Yes.
bro, are you a little hard right now? Is this a very different conversation than the one I thought we were having?
We're all excited right now.
Oh my god, we lost 9 to the heat.
He melted
Coming to
away.
fans, so you just happy to see me.
Both.
Wait, so, okay, clear something up for me, fellas. Is the white afro man a white man in an afro wig, or is he just a very light skinned black man? Because now I'm thinking it.
Like the real
think-
person?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
just
the
like
actor.
that episode of Atlanta
That's like a dude. in
where
a
it's like,
wig.
is he black?
So he's not black at all. He's a white man in a wig.
I'm
I
a
haven't-
white man in a wig.
Did you just Google this? Is that what you said?
I haven't Googled. I was trying to Google it, but I typed in white man in an afro, and I got
How many politicians?
Hold on,
How many politicians showed up in that result?
There's a lot of pictures of Simon and Garfunkel. Like,
How many current senators did you see pictures of?
This right here.
That's good.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
somebody find out. Is that a white guy? Is he a black
Okay,
guy?
the first
Put it in
one,
the
that's the
comments.
technician. His name's Austin Freeman, and yeah, he's a white guy.
He's a white.
Hello.
All right. He's a
And
white.
the other guy,
And he does not have an afro.
Another
the other guy,
Maybe he grew it out.
the other guy,
David.
is definitely a white guy.
yeah, and the other guy's named David Che.
Sorry, did you say Che, like C-H-E?
No, Shay.
Gotcha. Okay, I heard that differently.
Like Irish.
Yeah, and he's another white. Yeah,
He's-
they're
he's
just
another white.
guys.
He's a white.
Yeah.
You know, I will say another thing. all
Wait,
the
no,
fake.
because I have family members that look like that, so I was like, okay. Yeah.
Kirsten just had my favorite quote of the episode.
I just accepted the narrative. I'm part of the problem. Clearly, I need to stay out of chicken establishments because I'm just over here like, yeah. Woo.
Oh shit!
I can't see color, and it's a problem.
They already got to, they've already got to Kirsten. They've infiltrated her family.
That's it.
But
That's facts. That's facts, probably. That's facts.
Yeah, no, I
think.
totally.
Love you, Othelius.
Totally.
Oh god.
9 walked in for the right moment, for the right comment.
oh,
9, we need you to read that last Othelius comment, and then we can just go ahead with whatever you want.
Well, he looks like Eminem with an afro.
No. There's a much better one.
The one I just had?
Uh-huh.
Oh, person
He
got
did
family
read it.
members that look like Logic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure you saw that before we continue.
I got members that look like Logic too.
Everybody black has family members that look like Logic.
Everybody has a
What's
cousin. that
I
looks like
love
Logic.
Shingy's face right there. He was just like, what? And then he was like,
what's that
I'm
line in?
I'm Mexican and I got cousins that look like Logic, so it's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
like
about to say.
I'm cousins
What,
with all
Everybody, it's 2023. Everybody has a cousin who looks like Logic.
What's
Right?
that line? What's that line in Atlanta? Y'all just hate me because I'm light skinned.
right.
It's because I'm like, girl,
It's like that. It's like that joke that they keep making every time Nick Cannon can't keep it put away, and they're like, by the time in 2075, all people will look like some form of Nick Cannon. At this rate, he's gonna clone the earth.
He's the one he's making clones of himself.
Right.
We do move
He's
on
6'6".
to because Slick Charles gets trapped in a van, and while he's investigating, they lose his trail. Yo-Yo reads this line from the perm box, which says "Trader is greater," and I feel like that actually exists on a perm box somewhere.
Probably.
Those things are like so fucked up because I remember the ones that are like my sister had, and they're like marketed for little kids, right? And
Just for me.
just for me, right? And there was recently like a pretty viral like thing where everyone was looking up where those girls are now. And I thought that was like really interesting because they all have like moved on to just like keeping their natural hair.
So
This is facts. This is facts.
So I went to college in the smack dab
We get it.
middle
You're
of Illinois.
white. We get it.
Oh, it's about to get so much better, Blake. You're gonna love this. So I went to college smack dab in the middle of
White
Illinois,
memories.
and for the land of Lincoln,
Fucking Astro Rock
outside
over here.
Chicago, Illinois, is real fucking racist. To the point where, at one point in college, I was walking in the mall, and I saw this kid could have been more than 4 or 5, running by in a white or a blue shirt with a little shark on it, and it said, "It's great to be white."
What?
Oh my god!
That's the sort of thing that's like just like
what?
common.
That's like when H&M put that little black kid in the monkey sweater.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god!
That is crazy.
Who made that?
Is it
who
weird
makes
that
shirt?
Is it
I
weird
have
that I
no
want to?
idea.
You want to
Is
buy
it
Is it
it?
weird
that you want to buy that
Yeah.
shirt?
I want to buy that shirt and like go to a Cracker Barrel or something.
I have never
Alex,
been to a
this was
Cracker
12, 13 years ago. Good luck finding that shirt that I saw on at most a toddler. But what I'm saying is like, yeah, catchphrases like "straighter is greater" don't really surprise me.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an anti-gay
That's
slogan
so-
somewhere out
that's-
there. Straighter is greater.
Right, or it
Okay.
will be
So
one.
sad.
if they haven't thought of it, they're not really good at coming up with slogans. So
No,
they
they're
might
really
take
not.
that one and they'd be like, hell yeah.
Oh, that's good. It rolls off.
Thank
the
y'all,
tongue.
9 Nerd Yards. Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. I don't know.
Oh,
Try that in
E66, yes.
Yeah, who is that country singer? That
Jason
recently had the-
Aldean.
Jason Aldean. He
Bro,
should've
that's
won
like
this
your
out.
favorite artist. You say that way too quickly, bro.
No. It is. I've got enough family in small towns that's like,
Mhm.
man, I live in Austin, which is in Texas, which like Juneteenth is completely because Texas was the last place for people to know, like, hey, you're free.
Mm.
And I've seen more Confederate flags in small towns in Illinois than I have in Austin.
Wow.
Mhm.
And that's an issue.
Yeah,
Considering
I'm from
Illinois is
Ohio.
the land of
Same thing.
Lincoln,
Mhm.
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah, it is weird. But yeah,
well,
with
the deal is I ran that shit
Jason
fast.
Aldean, they've had to run defense. Like, no, I don't listen to him. I just heard about it.
I
Wait
fucking
a
hate
minute
country
now.
music, motherfucker.
I have black friends. I'm sitting in this podcast with right now.
Hang on, we
yeah,
connected
Jason
with.
Aldean should try that in the
We're
Glen,
conne-
you know?
Oh, facts. We're connected with E66. He lives in Dallas. Me and Jeff are here in Austin.
Well,
So next time,
motherfucker, get yourself
wow,
to
man.
Family
Austin.
lives in
Check
very
it out.
rural Arkansas.
Mm.
That sounds wonderful.
Arkansas.
Right?
Now, yeah, so
So-
we
Put their
go back
hoods
to
on at
Frog.
night and go out and greet the black
we go
people.
back to Frog. He's able to give them a little bit of clues. And I thought like this is kind of interesting because what would you think that like Frog's role is? Is he a clone himself, or
No.
is he
No,
just
he's,
a
No.
he's
seer?
old enough to have to have been a clone,
yeah, they're not
Right.
gonna want to clone him.
but he's
Yeah.
aware of
So-
it, and maybe that's why he's
I thought
homeless
they
and
had a
drinks so
clone
much.
of him when they were decanting people. I thought there
Did
was
they?
one of him in there.
It's like a fine wine. They're
Oh.
decanting the clones.
So,
I did
have you
like,
guys seen The World's End?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The old guy with the swizzle straw. That's him.
that's him. Yeah,
That's him.
the guy that knows
Definitely.
everything.
The
that's going
difference
on.
is in The World's End, he assimilated, whereas in this, Frog just decided to live on the outskirts where they wouldn't bother him.
Yeah. No,
I did hear a theory about like how frogs, I guess, are meant to like be like old sacred wisdom or like guides for people in their community or like
Frog the
I don't
animal.
know, like yeah, frog the animal, like their
Oh, okay.
whatever
Like the
literary
metaphor,
significance
got
in
it.
some
Right.
cultures. I'm not sure.
Really, they
Joel
like their
Taylor
own fucking
did,
eyes.
confirm that or not, but I guess it fits. But this talking to him leads them to the church where they do find Slick, and he gets out the bag. But he's found nothing but some boxes and some nefarious wares. I just love the way he talks, like
Nefarious wares.
some nefarious wares. But that brings them to the church, and this scene right here,
Oh my god.
pretty
Oh,
David
hilarious.
Allen
Uh,
Greer.
Greer, give me
Mhm.
all of him every
Oh,
single day. He's
I
so
was
great.
sad that this is the only scene that he was in.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
he
just sad
definitely
that my
did.
churches would never like this when I was growing up.
Hey, either were mine, honestly.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
getting the
think-
hype up in here.
Yeah, and it's part of the brainwashing because we know that the communion wine is actually drink laced
Grape
with
drink?
some
It's
type
the drink
of
drink.
I was struggling saying that, but it is used as the communion, and it has a different effect. I wouldn't say it gets people as euphoric as the chicken or
No,
as
it, like,
complacent as
pacifies
the
them.
hair
Yeah.
people that are doing the hair, the woman in the hair salon, but it does
Mm.
make you overly optimistic, I should
Yeah.
say. overly
That's-
optimistic.
Mm.
That's another
and
weird-
it makes them forget things. So it's like, don't be mad about what's his face that got shot down by the police down the street. Just forget that. Don't. He has a plan for you.
He was
What?
hit
Yeah.
in these
Yeah.
notes too.
Well, it's the same premise as during the Vietnam War. They got black units in the military hooked on heroin. And, you know, it trickled into the other units as well, so that they didn't really notice that they were in the middle of a fucking war because they were ripped out of their heads. So anything they did was just a drug-fueled mess.
I agree with
Here's
Kirsten.
to
We should
like-
give
Oh,
our
wow.
Korean soldiers
Back from my
heroin.
church.
No,
This
we
hit way
should
too
really
quick.
not. That was a bad idea.
It sounds
see
like
here.
So
E66 had the hot box chicken at his church. It was getting live up in there.
but by the way, I just Googled frog symbolism.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. Frog symbolism and meaning include fertility, potential, transformation, purity, prosperity, and good luck. So I think that fits with him.
Okay. All right.
I think the purity,
That's
purity, and good luck. And
Oh yeah.
shit, if we look at what happened to Fontaine, transformation works too.
A little
You know,
bit.
it's funny. It makes sense for his character to be as observant and vague as he is because, like, he's not like a big consumer. He's not able to consume all these products and be susceptible to all these things.
Oh.
So he's just like getting drunk on the corner, but he's also always on that corner. So he's observing things all the time, but he's also getting drunk all the time. So his words aren't always like very clear. So he's like kind of the perfectly formed oracle kind of character.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with Alex. We should get drunk all the time.
Yeah. Get me Danica on the malt.
Guys.
9 nerd yards malt.
I feel like the real Fontaine didn't honestly believe in his mission at some point and left breadcrumbs and defective clones to eventually take himself down.
It does feel that way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the only way that this shit could happen this way.
Right? Yeah. 'cause
Right,
like, that, like it was like I built the Death Star with a big fatal flaw in the bitch.
A little bit. A little bit. I ain't been to church in a while, but something's up for sure. This is one of the like plot contrivances where I'm like, so you guys just like stayed in the pews afterwards and just ended up staying after? Like I don't really get like how they would have like just finesse. I understand that like, you know, it's just to move the plot along. I don't really need to see it. I just kind of wish we did.
I mean, it's been forever since I've gone to a church, but my church, like when I was growing up, yeah, if you wanted to hang out, they didn't give a shit. You want to hang out as long as you want. That's your time. That's your time with Jesus. That's you and
Yeah.
Jesus, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up
Jesus
there
doesn't
forever.
keep a schedule.
I mean, he never
For
had a
whatever
fucking
reason.
watch.
They didn't have calendars. Well, not like
he
we do
couldn't.
now.
He couldn't have checked it. Was that
You
too
say
much?
God
That
ain't
felt like
in
too much.
today?
But from there, the crew makes their way down to for the second time, and it's more of like the headquarters this time. But we do get this funny scene with Charles Slick and Yo-Yo doing a rendition of "It's Going Down" by Mary J. Blige. And I really love that. And again, it's just like, you know, like just the guns being used as like a prop more so.
Right.
It's like it was just really fun.
So it's funny. Sorry.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So this movie was supposed to come out in like November of last year, and I remember seeing like September or something like that like a teaser that just had this scene, and I was like, these three people with this scene and this costumes, take all my money. I'm definitely gonna watch
We're there for it.
the movie. And yeah, like
Absolutely.
this scene was one of the best scenes in the movie. It was so funny.
And so like right after I watched that, I went to the comment section of Mary J. Blige's I'm Going Down. and a lot of the comments are just like here
The recent.
from I just start by new, and it's like they Cloned Tyrone is the one there. So it's like just kind of like lends to the fact of like
That's
this is
incredible.
a fire soundtrack, right?
Right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Also,
It's a fire
getting
soundtrack.
Erica Badu to sing to make a
Yes,
new
oh,
yeah, a
rendition.
whole
of-
new version.
They
Yeah.
cloned
Like,
Tyrone.
she did a whole new
perfect.
version for it.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go.
brought
Let's go.
John Boyega went to one of her shows and brought him on
Yeah,
stage. And
she's a
and
really
when they
big
did
fan of
That's
his.
awesome.
And she wasn't like messing around or nothing. She went in like she did on the original. She like
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And like all of the music on here is meant to be something very like it's going to give that tone of like hypnosis throughout,
Yeah.
right? All of the song choices I thought was really great. They make it down to the facility where they kind of uncover a lot of the other plots that are going on. We see some people that are listening to some music, and the music is making them fight, and then it's making them like hug each other.
Yeah.
I need a hug.
Kill a motherfucker. I need a hug. Lying around the house. I was thinking. Like, so that was kind of me, like when my AC went out, and then I need a hug, and then I was lying around the house. It was kinda
And
like
now he
soundtrack
about
of my
to kill a mug. Yeah.
It was hilarious. But yeah, and that's when they do the reveal where they make it to the tanks. Oh, just hop to the point. Yep. Frog is a clone.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was saying. I was like,
damn.
yeah,
Oh.
Frog
Oh
is the
shit!
clone.
Dum,
They
dum,
showed him in
dum.
I
there.
missed that completely.
Well,
Yeah, see, y'all
so
don't be
it-
paying attention. Y'all the
Forget
clones
everything
now.
that I said.
You would know everything about cloning. Terry.
Alex over there, like, well, fuck me. I just said that.
Yeah, right.
So he's the clone. So it makes his character just a little bit more interesting to me, and especially
I
like that
think he's
Matrix
like a
Oracle.
breadcrumb characters. Like, I don't think
I think that
Fontaine
lends
believed in his
credence.
mission.
I think that lends credence to Terry's theory. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that actually does make more sense.
But then
Interesting.
why not explain that in the movie? They had more than enough time.
Yeah,
Man,
I feel that's okay. That's another part of the that I feel like the movie either the time wasn't perfectly well spent, or like the way that they told the story as it is. I feel like this could have been a 90-minute movie and been incredible.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like take out a bunch of
Ooh.
stuff, and this
Mhm.
would have been incredible.
Yeah,
Like
really trim that
but
fat.
either like it was either it was a little overwritten in the sense where now like you can think about all the weird stuff that don't
Mhm.
make sense, but if you kind of take things away, it just is a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about when we did that finale for Secret Invasion. If you over-explain it, then you're gonna overthink it. But if
Right.
you under-explain it, then you just accept it as the reality of whatever you're watching. You're like, fuck it, all right.
right.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think Kenya here is onto something really dope in the comments. Right? I said I was
Right
thinking
here?
maybe Frog, yeah, and also the subsequent one. I was thinking maybe Frog is the original, but they have a clone on standby. And as
Mhm.
long as he played drunk and crazy, he knew he was safe. Right?
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, the lives that Slick and Fontaine live, right? Those are the kind of lives that, like, you know, for lack of a better term, like they're more, I don't want to say dispensable, like they could die, right? Whereas this
Yeah,
guy
short
drinks
life term. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he chose by the thing, right? He's fine. You know what I'm saying? Sure, we'll clone him when the time comes around. But that
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to be
When
a
we need a
conversation.
guy on the corner, just like to be
Yeah.
part of the Westworld loop of it all.
right.
And
Yeah.
Frog gotta be the Oracle. Yeah, he is like kind of an Oracle. This is again like when we're talking about Secret Invasion, right?
Yeah.
This is like a scene that I really wish that we would have had for Secret Invasion. I thought it was really interesting when I was first watching it. I was just like, oh, decanting 8001. That's number one. That's numero uno.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super interesting. And then of course Slick Charles. Oh yeah, when he does his thing.
Yeah, he tries to shoot himself.
yeah, this is like
Mhm.
the awesome shot that I really loved for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break it out.
Mhm.
Break it over.
Also, give me John Boyega with a grill all the time. I love
Oh
it.
Yeah.
yes.
Let's-
Yeah, I was like,
go.
should I get a grill?
Yeah.
Can I rock a grill?
I used to have
This
a grill.
right
If
here.
I used to
This
have a
right
grill,
here.
you could pull a grill off.
Why
Nice.
did
right
you
here.
used
This-
to have? You know what?
How
Never
much?
mind.
How
This
much do
right
I
here.
need to donate to make sure we get that going? And Blake, how much do I need to donate to make sure that doesn't happen again?
I will donate to both causes.
The subtle, like,
We'll just get bottoms this
camera
time.
wobble here.
Yeah.
When
That's
he
classy.
is, I was just
It's
like,
tasteful.
this is
Mhm.
good shit right here. Like,
Yeah.
I love these types of
Well-
shots. I love how like purposeful, like the use of
Yeah.
Mhm.
his gun. He's only pulling that thing to make it look badass.
Yeah.
Well, now,
Yeah, I want
so
grills.
Like,
did
it's
you guys
bam.
all, by the way, know right away he was trying to kill his own clone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the thing was, like, they tried to trick us a little bit because, like, we
No.
saw Isaac's clone there too. But, like, I mean, no.
not Isaac's.
I was like,
Slick Charles's clone.
I thought they also showed Isaac's clone at
They
one
may have.
point.
Might have.
So
I'm not
I
sure.
thought the point was they were trying to be like, oh, kill Isaac's clone so he can't kill me again, or he's shooting his own clone. And my
Mhm.
immediate thought was like, oh, he's trying to kill his own clone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I didn't pick up on that personally, but
I was working during
Alex,
my first
that's
watch through. I might have
that's
been
a soft way
making
of
shit
saying
up.
you're wrong. You're wrong.
I'm the official drunk Banthas diplomat. You know,
Othelius, you got
That's
a
the
grill?
sober one in the group.
I feel like you're talking from experience, Othelius. But I also thought like this was a great secret invasion reveal for Slick, right? Because this is the only time that we have seen him like speechless in the entire movie. It was just like it just added weight. I don't think I like was thinking like it was I didn't see it coming or anything, but I thought it was a really interesting concept that knowing if only certain people in the Glen are being cloned, then okay, so why is it Fontaine? Why is it Slick? Why is it not the whole Glen? Right? And with that reveal, knowing that it's because of these people being as problematic to the hood as possible was like really interesting. Considering, well, Terry, you shared a post with us in the chat. Talking about someone was talking about how the people in these communities stop talking about Jamie Foxx being a clone. Like the moral of the story is that you guys are the clones, the dispensable ones, the ones not really adding much to the community are the clones, right? And I figured that was you're muted, Terry.
Making some great points.
Terry.
You know what? That's a really good point, and I can't get behind it enough.
I can't hear you.
I'm glad you guys agree. Look, I've only been here for like a couple hours, guys. Chill out.
What if we did a podcast where, like, an hour 42 minutes in, we just told Terry we didn't hear him the entire time?
No, I was saying at the bottom of the post, it was saying that the whole movie was solved by the entire Glen, the entire hood, finally coming together and overthrowing them, and that's what we need in our world is to come together, but we're not.
That was a cool moment where like everybody kind of puts away their differences to fight this greater threat. You have to kind of like suspension of disbelief to believe that Isaac would just on hand believe everything that he's saying, and we don't get that scene where this is in every sci-fi movie is like, come on, man, you mean to tell me? I'm glad that they moved past that because this movie's already too long. But
I like the way they did it better.
I mean, they did just bribe him. Like, if someone gave me didn't he say 30 grand?
30 racks, yeah.
No. Whoa. That's a good point to point out. No, they gave him 10. The hookers were upping it to 30, so they each got 10 as well.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't
they
even-
Did you guys
I didn't
look
even
at
twig
that?
that. I didn't even twig that. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
I didn't
That's
not even
nice.
notice that.
That's good
Shandy,
shit.
what were you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I find it interesting, right? That Alex, right? Alex?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For someone who doesn't like, that's the part that you like, because that's the part that I thought was like, you know what I'm saying, was very like on the nose, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're doing the unity thing now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was two parts in the movie that had me feeling like that. That end and the club scene when the music was like rounding. I'm like, yeah, it's really like right on the nose. Yeah,
It is really,
I was
yeah,
like,
it was right on the nose.
it's like-
But
Yeah.
Well-
one thing about
But
this
wasn't the
scene,
club scene
what was
that they were being
interesting-
hypnotized?
Yes.
Yeah, like everyone in
Yeah.
the club is being hypnotized and they chase after. But what I found was interesting is that Joel Taylor he shared Easter eggs and he revealed that in those backing tracks under the bass line, it is actually Morse code saying things like "go and get them" and "carry on" or like "stop" and stand still.
Right.
And those
You're
are
my
just like
you're my
super-
slave, and like that Los Angeles
Wow.
one. he was listening
and
to
that's
songs, like,
all
That's awesome.
Morse code used in the bass line. It is so
Smart.
interesting because
That's
no
real
one,
smart.
99% of people are not going to pick up on that, but they're just going to take the time to put it in because it's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is so cool.
even if you know Morse code, you're probably not trying to pay attention that much, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
I like that. I love things like that.
Also, something else
yeah.
that was cool. Did anybody flip when Kiefer Sutherland showed up? I was like, bro,
I was
he's
just
still
like, what?
doing things.
Just
Honestly-
so
It's like,
out of nowhere.
oh.
I saw it coming.
These are
Playing
Sutherland.
another scary white man. Good for
Did you guys not see that coming?
I haven't seen
Kiefer
Kiefer Sutherland in a while, so I thought he was like that Southern dude from the first couple seasons of Ozark. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, he's still in the Netflix family. But no,
I only caught it
Kiefer
because
Sutherland.
I read the IMDb trivia.
as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time you play the song, I get tired. And earlier in the movie, when they're on the way to the first laboratory, they're Slake and Yo-Yo were getting tired.
Yo, E66, you were up that entire time, man. I don't know why you think you were tired.
And I was going to say that Keith Sutherland's. I thought it was interesting that the clone of Fontaine, that's the Keith Sutherland bodyguard, is
Chester.
also named Charles or Chester.
Chester.
yeah, yeah, it's
Chester.
another.
Okay.
They gave
Okay,
him the
so-
slaviest slave
Yeah,
name.
they definitely did.
Don't you
But-
besmirch the lead singer of Linkin Park.
But
Yeah,
when
Chuck
you go
is
It
off,
just went applied to a black man. It
Just
took on
as
different
white as
connotation
possible,
in
by
that
the
scene.
way.
Yeah.
different names, but Chuck is a nickname for both Chester and Charles, right? Or no, wait, no,
Yeah, I
that's
think so.
Sweet Charles. Never mind. I'm it's wrong connection.
We back on this.
Wrong connection.
still works.
Never mind.
I thought it was Charles McGill is Chuck, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Charles McGill. But yeah, but Chester also is like a Squilliam type clone. Just to bounce off that Squidward reference from
They might as well have called that clone Toby because of the way they were treating that poor clone. Just trailing behind this white man the whole
I
time.
mean, that was the point, you know?
Yeah.
I
Although-
also got real Bioshock vibes from him. Have you ever played that game?
Mm.
The first one?
Like he's the big machine thing.
No. So in the first, all right, hey, spoiler alert. The first Bioshock game, the character you're playing as is like a genetically engineered person. So at the end, it
Would you
turns
kindly-
out,
Would you
oh,
kindly, Jeff?
would you kindly? They
Yeah.
say, would you kindly, and you can't, and that triggers it.
So
So the
throughout the
thing
game,
was-
you're like hearing,
Yeah.
would you kindly, and you're thinking that you're just doing a mission or whatever, but
Mhm.
he always kind of like preface it like with "would you kindly," and then you
Mhm.
figure out at the end that
That's your
"would you
code
kindly"
word.
is
Being
actually the
forced to
code
do it,
word.
yeah.
It's your Olympia
Exactly.
Black. Yeah.
Ooh.
So so for me, Chester felt very much like the protagonist of Bioshock. Like I was just like,
Mhm.
damn.
Mm.
And maybe that's just because I played too many video games.
yes.
Oh, that's a video game.
I wish I played more. What'd you say?
I'll tell you what.
Game? I was wondering what you guys were talking about.
So I'll
Yeah,
tell you
it's a
what.
video game.
There's a BioShock novel, which is fantastic. It's a prequel, and
pretty good.
I think they're making a BioShock TV show, which will be
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Hopefully they don't
are.
fuck it up.
fingers
This scene
and
right
toes
here.
crossed. Boom.
This scene right here, John Boyega.
Oh, when he
just
finds out it's not
going
his-
off.
I didn't think that was his mom after the second time. I was like, I bet you that's not his
Yeah,
mom.
Right? I
it's
was like, there's
Agreed,
something
agreed.
going on in
there.
there.
But at the same time, you know, she just went to the fish fry, shows she's full.
I
I was
just
like,
went to the
okay, I
fish
believe
fry.
that. But
Want
then
me to
when-
have fish fry?
not right now, baby. I'm watching my stories,
What?
and I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't make me feel good." Like,
It's always dodging something.
Not
Yeah.
correct.
Like
It should
I-
not make you feel good.
Yeah, I was like, maybe
So-
I need to call my mom right now.
So
Just make sure
I-
she's
I-
not like doing a script.
Mhm,
it's like, how many times have I heard this week?
mhm.
How many fish fries has
My
Right.
mom-
Mama Vincer.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it
Like she
just
only
regular
had
fish
5
fries?
places.
I
This
called mom about some finances. Why she talk about Adirondack chairs?
Mhm.
Hey, do you guys, one thing that I struggled with, and maybe somebody caught it right away, is in that scene, why wasn't he more freaked out by that? Did he know that his mom wasn't there? Like, why is that just like, okay? I don't know.
Maybe
I
the
kind of feel like,
shock.
I think he I mean, his freak
Correct me
out
if I'm
is
wrong.
kind of.
I thought he
But
freaked out
isn't
pretty
this
well.
after?
yeah. Well, where is she? You know
Well-
what I'm saying? Like, where,
She
But
did.
he
She's
never
been
had one.
dead.
It's
Like,
been
yeah,
dead,
he's
yeah.
never had a mom.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
Isn't this also though after like he's given up? So like he's already
Mhm.
realized like, hey, his life is a lie.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Yo-Yo's even tried to be like, yo, we gotta do something. He's like, nope, I'm gonna buy into the lie.
Yeah. It's like, I don't.
So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like he had the last hope of his mom,
Mm.
but he knew the entire time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
he's
right
fucking
here
pissed.
here
Yeah.
was just so. I was like, man, this is good. I like me some
Yeah.
John
Mhm.
Boyega.
Dude,
Yeah,
he
he was-
needs
he
to
was-
be in
but
everything.
also-
I love him.
Yeah,
he
I-
does need to be in everything. But
Sorry. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, None.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like,
Ooh.
God damn it. Never mind. I lost it.
9, can you pull up
Oh,
E66's last comment?
Mm,
I think that's a really good point.
Mhm.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You
is-
know?
Ooh.
That's kind of, and then he's also in a tight spot because he wants to live as a clone. He knows
Yeah.
that he's going to be decanted or whatever if he acts up,
Uh-huh.
but also he's trying to live with this knowledge that what he knows and discovering
Yeah.
that his whole life is a lie and one of many lies stacked on top of each other.
Mhm.
So,
Well,
yeah.
So let me ask a question to the entire panel here.
Yes.
How does that hit you if you realize, like, hey, I'm a clone? Every time I die, there will be a new clone with my memories. Is it you're like, I'm insignificant, nothing that I do matters, or is it I'm basically immortal because, frankly, if I die, I'm back with my memories.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, not the memories of how you died.
It's kind of like
Do you
the thing
want
with
them?
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you want?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Alex, I'm
kinda-
sorry, you were saying?
No, it's kind of like the thing with like the theory of teleportation in Star Trek is like, does every time someone gets teleported, does the original person die
Right.
and it replicates a new person?
Yeah.
And does that even matter if you still have the same memories?
Yeah.
Well, that's like the Prestige, right?
The stream
Like,
of
yeah, the
consciousness
Prestige,
continues,
yeah.
yeah.
Prestige, yeah.
yeah, like which
Spoiler
one
alert.
is he? Bro, watch the movie. Y'all stop.
No, I've seen it.
I'm not doing spoiler. I'm not doing that political shit. I haven't
Well-
seen the movie. Fuck it. Like,
Well,
too bad.
have you guys,
Right.
are you guys
17
also
years old.
familiar with the I don't know the technical term for it, but there's basically a multiversal immortality theory
Oh,
where every time you die,
your consciousness just
your
leaves.
consciousness is transferred to a
Mhm.
universe where you haven't.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
How do you
the
guys feel
theory
about
goes
that?
like this: it's
Ah.
a button. You click a button, and it has a 50% chance of killing you every time.
Mhm.
Now, if you have the chance to click it 5 times, right? Um, there's the belief that you wouldn't realize the time that you died.
Right, because
Exactly.
you'd be right back to
Right.
the button. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll just be right
Right.
back to the button, or something
That's
like that. I'm getting a
wild.
little bit. I just want to kind of speed off through this.
Oh, I
gotta-
was thinking it was that meme where you can either click the
Oh,
button 10 times or get $10
when he's like
million.
wiping his head. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that one too. I love those.
Now, so Junebug comes back around, and it reminds him of his little brother. That gives him the confidence to go see Slick Charles. Slick Charles has lost all of his hoes, and is just doing
Thank you,
Pilates,
E66.
just drinking by himself. Let's see here.
In the words of Bun B, what's a
Yo-Yo
pimp
is
with
trying
no hoe?
to
Yeah.
do an expose on the whole thing, and that's when she gets captured. I fucking love this line delivery right here. Probably, I've been saying
God, I love you,
this
Jamie Foxx.
forever. Like ever since I watched this movie, I think I rewatched this part like 5 times.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could hear it, but you should have seen the furs.
We
You
heard
should
it,
have
buddy.
seen the furs.
Yeah.
I
It was
was
so yeah.
I gotta say,
Pull a bear down to the claws, ninja.
I don't know why, but scenes like that reminded me of Jamie Foxx in Horrible Bosses, where every single time they showed him, he was drinking something, and it somehow made it so much funnier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to, because I'm that guy who keeps hating on this movie. On this,
Yeah,
stream.
we're aware.
We're
We're fucking aware.
How did y'all feel about the wigs and fake hair in this movie? Because I thought that was atrocious for the most part.
I think it was supposed to be on brand.
Yeah.
I mean, even
not
what's his
for
name?
Fontaine's though. I think Fontaine's is supposed to look good.
Now Fontaine,
is supposed to look.
He looks like me 3 years ago, honestly. Like if you look at the cartoon of me on the Drunk Banthas, I look exactly like Fontaine.
which, by the way, I love that you pull up Slick Charles.
Which is what you look like now. No, I'm kidding.
I think it's again supposed to be that bit I read on the IMDb trivia. It's supposed to add.
That's you right there.
Fontaine.
it's not supposed to be a representation of what Black people's hair looks like or what Black people would think would be a good wig, but what white people stereotypically doing Black people's hair would be.
Yeah,
which is
that's true, but it's 2023. Even white people can recognize a bad wig.
Again.
Them too.
Whoa. Again,
well, who had the bad?
Think about how arrogant these people are, and think about how at the end Yo-Yo uses that to her advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. Now that was really cool. That was a cool plot point.
I love that point.
But yeah, I just to answer your question, 9. We just saw Slick Charles. His hair looked.
But I feel like that's on brand with what they're going for, right?
But what's his name? The clone bodyguard. His facial hair.
Chester.
Charles
and Chester. Oh my gosh! Come on, can we pull up a picture of his facial hair? Because that looks ridiculous.
Alex got his feelings over that. He was like,
I also love how Jeff is our inside white man, and he's just letting us know the mind and the inner workings of how these white people working in the hood.
Guys,
to try and make
another great line is "Let a pimp freshen up."
That's how I'm going to tell people I'm going to the bathroom from now on. Let a
pimp freshen up.
So to Blake's point,
go ahead.
So to Blake's point, I thought it was just all of this. I was like, these are weird fucking hairstyles. why the hell is it that they're choosing this for the movie? But this is what they're choosing. None of it seemed off to me. It seemed just like, hey, these are the choices they made for the movie, and I just don't fucking get it.
I didn't have a problem with the styles. In fact, I
No.
would have probably enjoyed it a little bit more if they were just like, if it was just straight up set in 1973 or something like that. Like if it was just like straight up, this is set in the 70s. Like I probably would have enjoyed it even a little bit more. But I'm talking about quality. Like,
Well,
like
and
the wigs
again,
just look bad.
I didn't notice it. I don't know wigs, man.
No. Yeah, I mean,
Cornrows
that might just be a me thing.
But so
A
Alex,
nitpick for me.
again, though, I think that's the point. I think the point is doesn't notice an issue
yeah,
is the point of those wigs, you know? Bro, it's real white.
So this is
real
when they get the plan to break out Yo-Yo, and we get the scene of them going to Isaac, and it appears that it's going down very down south immediately, but it is a slick little plan from I don't know. I really like the part where he says a bunch of Bill Nye the Science Guy looking motherfuckers. So yeah, this is where like, okay, so they don't really do that much testing see if he's actually dead,
Right?
And like, I was just like, come on now, that's a bit crazy.
Well, but is that again the lab people are those shitty versions that Old Tane's made?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Oh, dang.
Whole tank.
Because again, when he's talking with young Tane, he's being like, "Yeah, they suck, man. We're not there yet, but."
This is a cool little montage of just like
It was
fake
a
sexual
fun
acts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
So 30 racks. Okay. So like they're telling each other 30 racks.
They're hustling.
And then
But-
they shot me for free
But-
last time.
They only told Isaac 10.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think that was them each getting 10 for themselves.
Honestly, in my head, I was thinking that was his counter negotiation, but it
Yeah, it
makes
was-
much more sense that they're just like, hey, I see a
Let's
chance for
hustle
a
it.
come up. Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Right.
come up here,
Yeah.
right. And then this part when he's rehearsing.
That's it.
I love this part.
Training Day or Book of Eli.
But I am so glad that was the bad one. Like,
Yeah.
Book of Eli, that's the bad one. You don't wanna
Not a
be
Book of Eli fan.
so.
Okay.
At all. Like
I wasn't either. It was I was such a fucking letdown, bro.
The Gwen
Yeah.
Unites.
It was a mad
The
movie.
Gwen
this was
Unites,
fun.
they get deep in there, R&D, whatever. I love how like Yo-Yo is like Princess Leia, really, right? Because she's finding her own way out of there regardless of what the
Yeah.
guys are doing. And I really love that about her character. And she's and again, like Kirsten mentioned, mentioned that, like how that goes within the plot line of she realizes that that's what they're doing with her hair,
Mhm.
and she's playing that to her advantage.
Yeah.
And really like that. Spot on. Slick and Yo-Yo meet up with Kiefer Sutherland and have their fight. I'm trying to get a good shot of Squilliam here so we can look at his hair.
Chester.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chester's
Chester.
fucking disgusting.
Oh.
facial hair.
facial pubes.
So, all right. Well, so while Nine's pulling that up, so I mean, I think a lot of us got Tuskegee vibes from this, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
For
actually
sure.
a pretty good one.
Yeah.
So-
A reference.
This was something kind of crazy to happen to me today. Have y'all heard about a woman named Henrietta Lacks?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just learned about her today.
Yeah, because her family just won that lawsuit.
Exactly why, which is one of those like, man, how crazy is it that I learned about today, and we're doing this breakdown tonight.
Mm.
You know, so if
Tell us about Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that doc like a few years ago, but yeah.
so it turns out Henrietta Lacks, she's an African American woman. It was like 1950s, maybe 1940s. She went in and she was like, "Hey, everything hurts. Please help me," to a hospital. Excuse me. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they just like didn't help her. She died. But she had a tumor within the whole downstairs region.
Okay.
So they took a slice of it. They sent it off for testing. Right. She is the first. I don't know if only, but she is the first person who, for some reason, when they sent off her cancer cells, they kept replicating in perpetuity to the point where this happened in the 40s or 50s. Those cells are still replicating today.
That's
So, yes, however, that means they can use those cells to figure out a whole world's worth of medical things. They used these cells to figure out the fucking COVID vaccine. But, and yes, Khaled, they just got a settlement. It's undisclosed. But the thing is, again, they didn't tell her anything. They just sent off these cells to a place, and they have been working on, testing on. They've been using these cells since, I'm going to say, the 50s, at least. Oh, my God.
It's an insane story, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Kirsten's pop.
sorry.
Anyway,
She wanted to say hi.
So they've been using her cells since then. Oh, my God.
I had to move all the cushions so that she could sit on the friggin' couch.
I don't care. I love her so much. But so the thing is, they sent off her cells, E66, not without her consent, without her fucking knowledge. And the thing is, since her cells are still replicating to this day, they're still using her cells without her consent.
Still making money off of it because none of these cures are for free. None of this medication
exactly.
is free.
Oh no.
So it's again just another situation in which the medical community is testing on at the African American people and like, oh, hey, it's for the betterment of society.
Yeah.
While like,
yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, Tuskegee, they gave people fucking syphilis erodes your brain.
It was
and they're like, it's for the betterment of America.
Black people to get the COVID vaccine after that one. Like, I
Yeah.
just
which is understandable.
argue that one against many black folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, healthcare is pretty awesome.
Oh,
I mean-
sorry. Just to build
No,
on
please.
shameless professor plug. There's a great book on this called Medical Apartheid that talks about all those cases. So you find that like we talk about Tuskegee, then we talk about Henrietta, right? Which are very, very important touch points. But when you read that book, you realize how many times this has happened, right? And the many different forms it has taken. Whether it was folks who were put up in, in the they would get, not that like at the turn of the century, like in 1900s, get black folks who would be in the zoo, who would be kept in the Bronx Zoo, right? For American folks to just come in and
human zoos.
Right. But that's ridiculous. Well, and there's a lot we can say about that, but just to see how many times this has happened. So again, that collective memory, even when we talk about the COVID thing and then the resistance to that, right? Yeah, it's not just that one time that this happened, right? It's really deeply entrenched.
Right? It's just like
So,
got a point. Always trust.
So
That's the
Shingi,
point. E66.
real
That's
quick,
the point.
I do have a quick. Is that the book by Harriet A. Washington?
That's the one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Washington
thank
book,
you
yeah.
for that. Second off, there is and I'm sorry, like I didn't know they just had African people in a fucking zoo. I am today years old and I'm fucking learning this shit. That's insane to me.
So there's a guy named Ota Benga they got from the Congo, was in the Bronx Zoo. But to say like this guy was sharp is to understate it, right? Because think about getting somebody from the bush in the Congo and putting him in the zoo as sort of a novelty, right? But he got out of that and he went on to get like some diplomas, right? So he was sharp enough that in a brand new world that had kept him in a zoo, he got out and was able to get this thing. Then a little bit later, he actually ended up killing himself, right? Because what kind of life had he lived? But so it's a very tragic story, but that's the story of Ota Benga. So that was in the 1900s, indeed, and right in New York here. So yeah, this is not, this is
so not kind of along the same lines. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of or read. It's a comic book. There's 5 issues. It's called Shadow Doctor.
No.
And it's about a young African-American man in, I think, the 20s. It's around the time of Prohibition. And he wants to become a doctor. And he struggles and he goes through, and he does become a doctor. But Prohibition era America, 1, no hospital will hire him. But 2, the African American community doesn't trust him because they don't trust medicine. And the thing is, it's this guy, he just wants to be able to heal people. So what he ends up doing is he ends up E66. I fucking love you right now, man. He ends up becoming he ends up going back to a friend he had way back before he was a doctor. And he ends up becoming a doctor for the Chicago mob because his friend was Al Capone. Now, like I said, it's a 5-part series. The crazy thing, it's all true. The author and artist of the series is the grandson of this Shadow Doctor. And it's amazing. It's so well written. It's so well. Everyone go find and read Shadow Doctor. It is one of the most beautiful and amazingly well put together graphic novels I've ever seen.
Wow.
Sorry to take us off this again.
Well, we are at the end. We did see, but yeah, all of that super interesting. Going to probably clip that later and see if we can get that on the individual part. Now, we do reach the end to old Tane, as Jeff called him, and
Tane.
It is and we got Alex back too. And this is where he does lay down his plot. Assimilation is better than annihilation. The plan is to over generations, and you can see here we got like a little bit of a swatch test of different colors.
He's Home Depot in it.
Apparently, the same person, the same person that this is their clone.
9. It's the Home Depot paint section. We got you.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
it's like Tony Stark's Mach 1 through 5.
I was reading
racist Iron Man. We got it.
It's the tubes in Zordon for Power Rangers. Someone said that. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
I mean, evidently Bryan Cranston wasn't great while filming, so that might be accurate.
Oh no.
So and then obviously they take down him, Olympia Black. They use that. I was like, man, you guys should probably
Would you kindly
have better contingencies where, like, it does not work.
Well,
let me see.
The interesting thing to me was I thought that the Olympia Black was coded to the voice. I don't know why I thought
Right?
that, but I
Yeah. That's
You,
kinda
you
what I
thought that
thought.
you thought that, Jeff, because it makes more sense.
More sense, yeah. Like, it does feel like a Deus Ex. They tried.
Alex loves this fucking movie.
If anybody can use
Oh,
Olympia
I
Black,
love it.
it's pretty weird. It's
Yeah.
pretty weird. Another just like plot contrivance. But yeah, the gang gets out, releases the whole story. He's just a few days old. He wants to see the world, and this is when we have
We meet
reveal
Tyrone.
we actually meet Tyrone, and it's Los Angeles, like literally like Ice Cube. Today,
Why
is
yeah,
a
I mean-
day
on a
looking
Friday?
motherfucker.
I even loved
Do
it
what
so
I
much.
say.
Wait, I even loved it so much that you knew it was LA. They had Big Boy on the radio, and I was like, bro,
Yeah.
that's LA. Like
Mhm.
DJ Big Boy, like, man,
Yeah.
come on now.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And we get the line is just like, well, ain't that you, Tyrone? And so like it's this reveal that so the title is the movie is
They cloned Tyrone.
They Cloned Tyrone, right? And then it just it's right here, but like it's implied that everybody that he's sitting with said they cloned
Yo, they
Tyrone,
cloned Tyrone,
right?
yeah.
They cloned Tyrone, you know.
Yeah.
And then we get the outro with Erica Badu.
By the way, I want to
and
be
it's
in
fantastic.
this room. There's like 4 blunts in rotation, and
Right.
there's fucking people eating crunch cereal and shit. It's like I want to chill in this room.
That is
Thought it was interesting. Of course,
I mean,
You get the
shit,
Lakers
they're in
so much.
LA. Just go find it, man.
I really love the
Yeah, I was
change
gonna
of
say, like, that's
clothes
my
and
fucking-
everything. Like they
Mhm.
really got him LA'd out.
Yeah, and
He
like of
was,
course he's
like-
got his own frog too, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
is this, like it's
Yeah. Which
really
makes it feel like
purposeful.
it is more of a calculated thing, his character.
right.
Yeah.
It's a
Maybe
Westworld
Frog's like a
loop.
tester to make sure that Tyrones or Fontaines are on task and not believing like any weird shit that they're seeing.
Yeah, like kind of their eyes. the
Yeah,
eyes
because if a
that, like-
crazy person's straight up always telling you, "Hey, there are aliens and clones out here," are you really gonna
Yeah.
believe him if there's
Right.
aliens and clones out there?
No.
He's just
Interesting that Terry's the one to bring that up.
I mean,
now-
duh. Of course,
Me
that's why
thinks
I
the
always
clone
admit,
doth
I am
protest
a
too much.
clone.
But yeah, Kenya, I don't understand how Fontaine saying Olympia Black didn't affect him at
I
all.
agree with
He's a
that.
clone.
Right? Yeah,
like
I
it's so
don't know
weird.
how
Like
he
why?
can say
why
it.
how are
Yeah.
clones able to use the code word? You fucked up.
Doesn't make
guys.
sense. Yeah.
Y'all fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
just-
shouldn't. They shouldn't be.
just small.
Just
Siri can say Siri, can it?
Right, yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't
Oh,
have one
man.
of those creepy. I don't
Yeah.
have I don't have.
that just wrinkled my brain.
Mm.
Yeah, I Android, so I
got
don't fucking
thoughts.
know.
Yo, there was one little bit. Sorry, let me just get say this here.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Kind of
Yeah.
cracked me up, right? And I
Do
could
it.
be off here because I might have been on mind altering substances. But y'all remember when, towards the end, right? When they have that conversation with Kiefer and Yo-Yo, and I think I was reading something that she had written or something, and he uses the word loci, right? Which appears on the screen as
Right,
LOCI. I'm like, wait, this because that's very, it's loci, right? That's how you pronounce that word, right? Or it's not loci. I was like, wait, is Yo-Yo smarter than this guy? Like,
Oh, yeah,
it kind of
he
got me
is.
thinking about some other stuff that I'm like, wait, there's maybe a commentary on how we are, folks are governed or our fates are determined by people who are like dumber than us. You know what I mean? Because like that
Yeah.
guy is
So-
in charge, and he can pronounce the words that this woman has been using.
Mhm.
That's
So,
a really good point.
Shingy, I agree with you, and I think that is, interestingly enough, they're the reason they failed. They underestimated her. They thought, oh, she's just out sucking dick. She's not smart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it turns out she's actually like really smart. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you just like look at the other points that he was reading about her thing, like, oh, they've got these egress points here and here. There's all of that. Like, she wasn't just like being like, yo, these motherfuckers are coming out of that room and that room. Like, no. she was giving a real professional dossier about what's going on,
Mhm.
and none of them could have believed, and they just couldn't believe it because she's the random hooker.
Right.
Yeah.
And early on, to your point, early on, there's a part when she talks about we've crossed the Rubicon. I'm like, that's not a reference that like a random person, let alone
Right, yeah.
just
Yeah.
weird. And I'm like, wow.
When she's talking about
Nigga,
like,
who
shit
taught
getting
you
from
Rubicon?
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
I got some, not to interrupt, but I got some early work stuff to do, so I got to get out of here. But,
Gotcha. Kirsten's leaving the podcast
You
forever.
want to tell everyone where they can find you before they can?
yeah,
Before
you
do
can
that,
find.
whatever.
I don't know why I'm dressed like I'm going across the desert. It's cold in here.
Sorry.
You can find me on Twitter, Kirsten Cobb1. You can find me on Blue Sky. It's also Kirsten Cobb. I'm on Threads. I'm on Instagram, Kirsten_Cobb. Facebook. You can find me on all the social medias. It's all my name. I did not. Oh, there I am.
Oh, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Copper tone.
I love that
baby.
banner, by
Wait,
the way.
Can you scroll up again real
That
quick?
banner. Yeah, it's Skeletor.
Hey, no, wait. But okay, outside that Skeletor, that picture that we got of Kirsten there,
What?
you could go out right there. What's
Oh.
going on with that Tedros wig?
Shut the
Oh,
fuck up.
I had to. I love you. I'm so sorry. I'm so mean.
God.
It's my
Jeff
hair.
is also out of there.
Yes. I know. Yeah. He gotta go. It's so weird that
I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
it's been driving me nuts because I love it, but I also hate having straight hair because it's a lot of fucking work. So as soon as this shit,
Kirsten, straighter.
For real, give your dog a
Not
bunch
too
of
much.
cuddles and kisses from me, okay?
I will. All right. Love you guys. Bye, everyone.
Love
Adios.
Adios. Blake, do
That
you
might
want
be the
to
meanest
really
thing I've
quick-
said.
That's probably I
It
don't
was
know
it
why
was
you
very
said that.
mean. That was
I
very
have
mean.
no idea
I
why
feel
you
bad.
said
It felt funny.
that. Blake, tell your story about you watching this movie. It was kind of like funny because we told Blake to watch it in the chat, and then he didn't even really come back and report that he liked it, he loved it. He just woke up and chose violence and started going after people.
I didn't watch it
To
until
a
after
point-
I read Blake's goddamn Twitter.
And
I
I just didn't read the Twitter till later on today. And I was just like, after everything's been done, I was like, oh my God, what did you do, bro? And then y'all tried to make me feel like I came up with the stupidest idea ever called, let's just get people on and make beefs with them. And you're like, I'm not trying to make beefs. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
what the fuck
And
were
then
you
Blake
trying to
is
make?
sorry.
Terry, we're all familiar with you and Kamel. We got it.
You wanted all that. Fun.
In the
But,
words of Rhodey, you earned this smoke, homie.
Earn this smoke. This is actually because me and Alex actually talked about this slightly during the Foundation podcast of like, wow, it's kind of interesting that it's the #1 movie on Netflix. It's got these elements to break down, and not a lot of people are talking about it on YouTube on the platform.
They Cloned Tyrone was the #1 movie, and no one was talking about
#1
it?
movie on Netflix for like 2 weeks.
And it's even like a
Damn.
It's even like a sci-fi thing, which is like something that is totally in the pocket of your screen rants and your heavy spoilers or whatever like that. And
this
really,
this is the point that I wanted to make was like there are huge channels, right, that do breakdowns like us, but they've been around longer. They're so established. They have a bigger following. Comes with time. Your heavy spoilers, your what's the other one? I can't think
Screen
of.
Rant.
Screen Crush, Screen Rant,
Crush.
new rock stars, right? Like and then I will get to that E66, but there have been so many movies and shows that why have these been passed up? Did they do a breakdown for Sorry to Bother You. Did they do anything for
Mm.
Atlanta?
You want me to throw up
Swarm?
your tweet?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
throw up the
just throw
tweet.
it
Throw
up.
up your tweet
Throw it
right
up.
here.
Now, of these three, though, I will give Heavy Spoilers a little bit of flowers because he broke down Lovecraft Country, and that was a tremendous show.
Whoa! I'm sorry. You're saying like, okay, he broke down love, but he didn't break down any of these four that you posted.
That's why I said
Yeah.
a little bit of
Am
flowers.
I-
You don't get the whole
I'll read it
round.
out. I'll read it out. I often wonder
I need to
why
make sure.
Screen Crush News, New Rock Stars, Heavy Spoilers doesn't break shows and movies like this down. I like these channels, but it seems a little ... as the kids say, sus. Two of these shows, movies listed have
Ooh.
sci-fi elements. Okay, it got some traction. I actually decided to remove myself from the narrative. So I untagged myself. I untagged myself because it's been traction, and you know, I because also I didn't want to feed into it that much. Because
Hey, Nine,
I
can you actually pull up Khalid's
put
comment at the end there?
this up right here. Whoops. I was like, I think we know why.
Yeah.
And it started getting a little bit like more traction than a lot of my other stuff, like 21 likes or whatever. I was like, oh, well, this is not like the path that I wanted to go on.
But this also isn't a thing where you should have backed down on it either. Like, bro, like,
well, I mean,
clearly,
I talked about it already.
sure,
with
but
Alex
nobody,
or whatever,
who saw that above seeing this tweet, right? Like, this is a bigger issue than just like, hey, you know, if you want to remove yourself, fine, but like, this is a bigger issue that needs to be talked about. I don't think any of these channels are racist or anything. I don't think they don't like black people. In fact,
It's just the way you
New
went
Rockstars.
about it. How
Who
you
cares?
said it.
Well, no.
Who cares?
I'm totally behind Blake in this sense. Just because it is very, very weird the way Hollywood works. Like, even like I read a story the other day about like how the only reason Eva Longoria was the love interest in Hitch is because the producers was like, oh, we can't have another black lead because that makes it a black movie. And I think that idea that a whole bunch of 90s and mid to late mid and early 2000s producers, like their influence on movies at that time, it had an influence on society. Like, and people just subconsciously are like, you know, I don't want to talk about or see X, Y, and Z. Like, you know, and I think that has a lot to do with the way that YouTubers cover things. Like, even if this is a subconscious thing, they're just like, oh, I'm not going to talk about this movie because it's a black movie. And even though it's a sci-fi movie, at the heart of it, it's a like. And again, I don't even love it as much as you guys do, but at the heart of it, it's a good sci-fi movie. And I think that it's worth talking about, like, as much as any of these. Like, they took, you know, Screen Rant talked for weeks and weeks about Secret Invasion, and they admitted that they didn't even fucking like it.
Well, so even just look at these four pictures here. Okay, they Cloned Tyrone. If you're gonna fall off on that, I guess. The angry black girl and her monster. Okay, it wasn't as big. But Atlanta and Swarm were
huge.
big.
We're pretty big. Yeah.
Fucking shows.
Yeah.
With Donald Glover. I mean, what?
Donald Glover. All of these people on this, like, wait, Lakeith Stanfield, Donald Glover, and
Zazie Beetz. They're all Marvel.
They're all
people,
huge movie stars. Two of them
all
are
like
Oscar nominees.
I mean, Tyree now.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, like they're all in there. They all are part of Marvel things, properties. Too. Like most of them are.
I mean, like, if you're not going to go Marvel, fucking Donald is so in Disney now. He's now the writer and, excuse me, maybe not director, but he's the writer for the Lando show.
Yeah, he's pretty much the showrunner for the Lando show.
Right.
Like,
him and his brother.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
mean,
surprising that like none of these channels were. But this is when I was just like, oh, I don't want this.
I love you,
beat.
Khalid.
And Blake, I kind of want you to break down. Well, I'll read this because Heavy Spoilers, who is
He replied.
million+ subscriber channel, woke up. I'm pretty sure he lives in the UK.
Yeah, he lives in
And
the UK.
He was like, okay, I need to fucking respond to Blake here. And yeah, it's actually just like a straight up quote tweet.
He
got a
also
lot
replied
more-
another
got a
one
lot
too
more
after
likes.
You
He
replied a
says,
couple
I didn't
levels.
break down The Bear, Walking Dead, Barbie, or Silo either. I don't have time to break down everything, and insinuating that I purposely chose not to cover shows with black people in it is really insulting.
Is
Okay.
okay? So
You know
I have
what?
to
Can I
say,
say-
The
can I-
Angry
can-
Black
sorry.
Girl and Her Monster isn't out in the UK. The Cloned Tyrone came out the same day as Oppenheimer and Barbie, and I didn't have time to cover them all. Atlanta started in 2016 before I was reviewing stuff, so
what?
I'd be jumping on mid-series.
So what? That
well,
came
I
out
mean,
before. That came out before I started my show. You started your show. These are not good excuses. These are just
and it's
reasons.
just weird waking up to this when there's a ton of shows and movies I don't cover.
Cool.
I think heavy spoilers actually
Well,
brings up a
ain't no
good
way,
point.
bro.
He clearly should cover The Bear and Barbie.
Yeah, they're great. I will.
What? Ain't no way, bro. Well, as a black viewer of my boy Paul, not once has this crossed my mind. Holy shit, 2023. But can you break down, talk to me? That shit fire, JK. But seriously, that's wild. Now the thing is, well, actually, go ahead, Blake. God.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I like these shows. I subscribe to these shows. I like their videos. I'm not like hating. I don't hate the people who make the videos. I have questions though that needs to be addressed. And if they want to change something about it, then go change it. Like you want to be like, oh, we're not doing that. Y'all still have time to do that. But why hasn't it been done yet? Like it's the same thing of like when record companies were major and they didn't let independent artists on. Like you control a narrative to a certain point, and you have a responsibility to hang on, Jeff. I see it. But you have a responsibility to let these things get air and get life. Like imagine if they covered Atlanta or Swarm or the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster or they Cloned Tyrone. Like just to name a few. Like people sometimes watch these shows just to go and watch these YouTube shows. And vice versa. It's a symbiotic circle. They watch these shows to watch us, right? Like we have a responsibility, bro. Like, and if nobody wants to side, I really didn't care when I sent that. I didn't even think that they would tweet back. But all you have to do is not tweet back, bro. Like it would not be as big of a deal. But the fact that you noticed and said something, let's have a bigger discussion about it.
I also feel it kind of like demonstrates that he does feel some type of way about it. Like, yeah, maybe you are feeling guilty about that what you're doing. I think you subconsciously know that you are doing that.
Yeah.
And you yourself know that talking about these shows just isn't that popular. No one else is doing it. Why should you do it? Because those shows don't have the right demographic.
Make it popular.
Numbers.
Make it popular. That's it.
That they want to say.
I have something to say after Jeff, but yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well,
thank you, Alex.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no,
Thank you. Was first.
I'm sorry. I'm putting the white.
I didn't even know.
That's my own.
I'm actually trying to wait my turn on this one. So Shiggy, let's hear it, mother. But
no, real quick comment that his defense was also like a logical fallacy. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? Like I don't do this other stuff too, so I can't. It's like if I don't never hire black people, then say I've also never hired. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, dude, there's clearly you've done a lot of like white shows as well, right? But like none of these here. But yeah, it was that kind of that running, I don't want to say scared, but running guilty kind of defense. But
right.
Yeah.
So all right. So Nine or Blake, can one of you pull up E66's comment starts with racism isn't calling us, and then the word I'm not gonna say. But
it's up at the top 9.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 back. It's you'll find it anyway.
You find it?
This one right here.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so here's my thing, and this is gonna make me look bad, and there's no other way for me to say it. If I wasn't on this channel, I would not be exposed to a lot of these things. A lot of these things I would not know about, I wouldn't watch, I wouldn't react to, and I wouldn't I want to get to enjoy. This was a great fucking movie. This was a lot of fun. I mean, Alex is wrong, but the rest of us understand how great it is. But so the thing is, like, things like this in Atlanta and Swarm and the Angry Black Girl, like, they very much take me out of my comfort zone. But that's a good thing. And they get me to think about things that I would never have thought of before. And so we're not calling anyone else racist because they're not covering this. We're just saying, like, hey, we get that, like, the Marvel movies and the Disney shows and all this shit, that's what's getting you your pull and your money. But you don't have time to do this one too?
Right.
I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with making money. Fucking do it. But you've got a platform. So maybe help people like me find things like this. I mean, right. and I also get it is not fair to be like, hey, it's your responsibility to make idiots like me realize, like, hey, this is what we got to watch and got to understand and, like, maybe start realizing the world. But, like, well, it helps.
That's how it be.
Yeah. And I to piggyback on that, on the one hand, as like a exhausted YouTuber, I get that you can't cover everything. Like, you have to pick and choose what you want to cover. There's honestly, like, there's been so many times where Bill, my brother, who does the podcast with me, is like, "Oh, we got to cover this." I was like,
"Fucking off to Chicago."
We only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah, that's also like a big issue too.
Yeah.
Like, but also, like, 1 million+ subscriber channels,
right?
Like, you got
editors, but yeah, like, on the and I do that to play devil's advocate. On the other hand, like there's so many shows out there. Like, there's like when we decided to cover Polite Society, Foundation, Arcane, is because of, like, oh, we were so excited about the representation of it. It's like I'm not gay, but I was very excited about the gay representation in Arcane. Like, I'm not I'm not Hindu, but I was very excited about the brown representation in Polite Society. It's like, you have to be able to, like, you have a responsibility, I guess, like, especially when you have such a huge fan base, to just be like, oh, this is what's cool that's happening in the genre.
Yeah.
It's like, not just like in, not just trying to, like, play woke police or anything like that, but it's just like, this is something interesting that's happening in the genre, but also with Black and brown people, and it's fucking awesome. Like, it's
yeah, because it's like almost it's at a level where, like, with this one in particularly, and then with the list that Blake laid out in his Twitter, it is at a time where it's like, well, if not now, then when? You know,
yeah,
like, when will these things start getting the coverage? If it's a movie that's been on Netflix for, top one for like 2 weeks in a row, and it's got the buzz going about it, like,
this is the time.
I'm not gonna even just, like, take one look at it or, like, say that.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of it's just, yeah. But at the same time, I love heavy spoilers.
I do too.
Like, I love heavy spoilers. That was part of the reason why I was just like, I'm not going to associate with the narrative, just because, like, a lot of the stuff, like, I get, like, he's a pseudo bit of inspiration. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I love the way that he just edited that, or, like, explain these things. His jokes are pretty fire. So I'm like, yeah, I love his channel, but
it's one of those things where, like, hey, wanting someone to be better doesn't mean you hate that someone,
right?
For sure.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I wanted Oppenheimer to be better, but that doesn't mean that I hate Chris Nolan.
Correct. And that's why Alex is telling everyone to go see Barbie instead of.
But Paul, if you are watching this right now,
Dude, we fucking
just
love
from
you.
9 nerd yards to you, we're sorry for insinuating
No, we're
that
not.
you're racist.
No, we're not. No, we're
Fine.
not.
If
I'm
You
not.
got that. If you got, I mean, most of the
I'm
people
not.
here, like, I'm
Mhm.
not starting beef with fucking heavy spoilers, bro. You
There's
know how
no
heavy that
beef.
is.
Yeah,
There's
ain't
no
no beef,
beef.
bro. Ain't no beef. I think
This is literally a critique, bro. You're. I think you're having more. You're like the
No.
other people on Twitter defending him. Like, bro, I'm not coming
No, I'm
for beef.
not.
I'm trying to critique him.
I'm not defending him, but if
Yeah.
someone takes it as beef, then I'm sorry.
That's
that
on
they
them.
took it
That's
that
on
way.
them. I'm gonna wake up okay. I
So-
woke up just fine this morning.
So, all right.
So that's beef, bro. That's
That's
how
beef.
you're talking right now. That's kind of like how
Yeah.
beef sounds like.
No,
All I'm
beef is when I'm
saying
angry
is
at
that,
him
like,
too, and he's angry at that's
this-
beef. I'm-
If
What's
things
beef?
get
Yeah,
lost in
honestly-
translation over Twitter,
I was about to
then-
say that is a weird thing where you can't text tone. You know, you can't like you can't read something and feel the inflection of how someone is saying something. So it's always best to have an actual conversation with someone. But I think that this is a very like normal like discourse where like I think it would have been a little bit more
Thank you.
normal if heavy spoilers was just like, oh, you know what, I didn't realize that about the things I'm doing. That must be a subconscious decision that I'm making. Let me evaluate myself, look into the man in the mirror as if like Michael Jackson said. and,
Maybe don't bring that up. Maybe don't bring it up.
but no, yeah, like I feel like, you know, his response could have been different, but again, you can't text tone.
Yeah.
oh my god.
That's also I think
Yeah,
that
that, Film Age also got in on this, and heavy spoilers responded to him. Did we say
Film Age
purposefully
was our bet.
we're
Had our
pointing
back.
out an odd coincidence that a lot of channels share, and also the 4 IPs you drop don't need you to break them down. Barbie clearing 800 million, The Angry Black Girl, Enter Monster 123, which would benefit more from a breakdown. There's a clear tone in the entire thread. It's also not an odd coincidence. These are shows and movies that have released several months and years apart. Actually, that's not true. It's weird that you even think that these properties need a white dude to break them down.
okay. Now
Wow.
he's yeah.
Now you actually, I take back my sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop responding because there's some clear projection going on here from you,
Yeah,
Paul, labeling things as sus and an odd coincidence is trying to push an image of me that you've made up when I've given clear examples where not covering something isn't based on race.
Bro, it is such
You're
a
the one who decided to address a zero traction pose. I don't know what kind of engagement you were expecting. Film Age,
I'm
drop
sorry,
something
Film Age,
in
I
the
love you.
Drop something in the
Can-
comment, Film Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
Well,
shout out
Can I
to
actually ask a
I love
question?
a lot
here?
of channels, but also when Black History Month rolls around, channels tailor their content for it. But
yeah.
the 11 other months,
Oh, great there.
he said 11 other months.
I will say white, like Canadian,
Why is that
high
still going?
profile
What the
YouTube
fuck?
channel that
Oh, I
I
got the
feel
loop on. My bad.
Stop it. Turn it off.
I didn't know it was loop.
Can I?
Okay.
Well,
Hang
Can
on.
I
Alex
ask-
was saying something. Were you
oh
saying?
yeah, go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
just real quick, I just want to say shout outs to Think Story because that's like one of the only YouTube
I love Think
channels
Story.
that
Yeah.
like that's like big that covered this show. And yeah, I mean we covered this movie. So yeah,
Mhm.
shout outs to Think Story. But go ahead,
Mhm.
Jeff.
Well, no, I do have a question. What is the perception of a white person just breaking this down, these sorts of things down on their own? One of the reasons I like breaking it down on this channel is because I get to learn things
Mm.
that I never would have thought of before. Because,
Mhm.
well, I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm very, very white. but like Atlanta, Swarm, Angry, Tyrone, like
I mean, like just honestly speaking from a guy who's talked about a bunch of movies and TV shows from like a culture that I know nothing about, like, you know, I just did a breakdown of Polite Society. I know nothing about like Indian culture. Well, I know very little about Indian culture and just like
You better
arrangement
stop it.
stuff like that.
You
But
know.
I loved that movie, and I loved the culture that they implemented into it, and I loved how much I learned about it. So I think, at least I like to hope, because I still put these fucking videos out. I like to hope that people aren't just like offended by the fact that I'm just don't know anything about this culture and I'm talking about it. I'm just more just intrigued by the stories, intrigued by the characters, intrigued by the culture that they're trying to, just try to quasi educate people about. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, there's also
ahead.
a huge thing that we must also realize, that these shows are not in themselves a monolith, right? So, for example, or the
Right.
movies, like they Cloned Tyrone was not only just black in terms of, it is also very black in the story it's telling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas
Mhm.
like Swarm, for example, from I watched a few episodes. I didn't watch but it wasn't. It was, sure, there were black tropes in there, of course, because that's the community out of which it's coming from. But also, you could just discuss it as a story about celebrity obsession, right? And just sort of
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that
Oh,
story.
100%. Yeah.
Right. So that that might be a little bit easier for you to take on without touching on these things that you're uncomfortable with. But something
Right.
like the Clone Tyrone, I think like that's something that you would need to know a lot about, some of the intricacies, or
Yeah.
at least be breaking bread with some brothers on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I agree.
Well, this is also a part where I'm like a little conflicted too, because when I hear this, and I don't know if Elo is if he follows me or not.
Hello, Elo.
I don't know. But he says, I've certainly never made that link, and I just go to 9 Nerd Yards if you don't cover stuff I like. But yeah, go ahead and cover what you like, and I'll always find you deliver in content with a sensitive and thoughtful approach. So it's like, a little bit of this channel, like why it's been able to take off and we got people watching us right now, is because we are filling that void as we speak, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of like, okay, do I want Paul taking my bread and butter? You know what I mean? And also, yeah, it's like, is Paul, the guy from the UK, the right person to be breaking down those types of things, or like those?
Well, that's why I mean you're
Yeah.
so focused on Paul. Like I've tagged 3 podcast channels. Like,
well, he's the one who responded.
Well,
okay,
so
that's fine, but this is a bigger. I don't focus on that. I read his comment and then I moved on with my day. Like I am trying to present this as like a bigger argument as a whole, not as like one guy responded to me and like, okay, fine, that's fine. Like I moved on. I'm not.
Well, I mean, the
concerned about
person
the
that you
singular
tagged
narrative.
in the thread, it's not like you said, "Oh, why aren't bigger YouTube channels covering these types of shows?" You tag specific people in it, and those are the people that came back and are giving their response.
not those.
So
one
those are,
person from that.
like one
Honestly,
person, right?
I give Heavy Spoilers just a little bit of credit for even responding, because
I'll agree there. Yeah.
because the other guys just like, it's like, oh, because they looked at that and were just like, oh,
They
I'll
knew
just
what was
go along
going
with
on.
my day.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck ever. Yeah, Ryan Airy, he read that and he was like, what the fuck ever. I'm gonna make my Secret Invasion video
That I watched today, so it was great.
and again, I watch all those YouTubers as well. But yeah, it's telling about the subconscious of just society. Like we all, think of certain things as, or most people think most people think of certain things as a default white, and I think that just like carries over to YouTube channels where they just like we'll cover the most mainstream white thing possible at the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, Alex, not to jump on what you're saying, but like, Paul, Heavy Spoilers, if you need, I can hop on your channel. And we can, but no,
we'll loan him out. We'll loan him out.
But to be serious, and I don't want to say like, hey, I'm just like an amalgam for all white people or anything, but again, one of the things I love about being on this channel is I'm exposed to movies, to shows, to things I would never. I'll tell you this. I'm exposed to things that I wouldn't have just watched on my own. And it expands my worldview, but also just like it exposes me to really great movies and shows.
Yeah.
And frankly, I kind of, well, this is gonna sound awful. I feel bad for people who like maybe Paul who don't have this sort of outlet to like, hey, watch this because it's awesome, and then you get to experience something you wouldn't have otherwise looked into. And being on this channel makes my life better. And I just these are things I wouldn't be exposed to if I weren't on this channel, you know, fuck right the fuck off. I'm just trying to say there's experiences, there's thoughts, there's things I'm exposed to because I get to watch these and discuss them with you guys. And if I weren't doing this, I wouldn't have that option. And I just, God, that would be so much. That would just suck, you know.
No, I honestly, I appreciate that sentiment because there's been a lot of people outside of my own like worldview. Like there's plenty of queer people, brown people, people outside of my own culture that I've hung out with, and I've learned a whole lot. And
well, hey, buddy, I'm one of those queers, so you got it right here. You're good.
Yeah.
On that note, man, should we wrap up 9? We're hitting like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I went off on some diatribes. I do. Feel
sorry.
This was
Terry and
this was an event.
falling asleep.
This was a fucking event of a stream, and I love it. Love the conversation. And one of our more popular streams of the last few months here. And I'm very happy that everyone tuned in and stuck around for this whole conversation. I am working on a video.
Thanks, E6X.
I am working on a video for this. It's already written and audio edited. Just need to actually put the visuals together. You know what? I was thinking that I needed a clone. I was like, oh, I wish I had a clone to that could, do my editing and work for me. And I was
talk to Terry.
Fuck, that's slavery, isn't it? It's like, God damn it.
No, that's multiplicity. That's all that is.
Yeah. You want to close this out? And
let's take us out. Yeah. Let's start with Big Shingy, man. Thank you so much for coming on. So good to meet you.
Panel was so stacked.
So nice talking to you, man.
It was.
Sorry, I'm loud.
It was such a delight. I think you guys are such an easy group to talk to. Right? You don't even need to have much. But I'm glad it went well. What else do we say in this part?
Just shout out where people can find you if they want to reach out to you. Anything like that, man.
The name is Shingy. Like you see here, Mavima, Mavima. If you look me up across the social media pages, you'll find me. I have a couple YouTube channels, one just Shingy Mavima, then one in which I talk about African history, then African lectures. So I put up different conversations on there. So yeah, just look it up.
And then plug the book too.
Oh yeah, the big thing in the back here. Shout out to 9. He got me that poster, but that's my book, Pashena. It's out. Talks a little bit about my childhood growing up in Zimbabwe, as well as but it's not really like autobiographical like that. It's really talking about watching a community evolve around me in the late 90s. So yeah, that's a little bit about that book. And I hope to see you, some guys following me and engaging with you.
Yeah, everybody go follow Shingy. It's on Twitter, and if you're up for a good read, go ahead and check out his book. It's on Amazon, so
that to the
make it
description
real easy
below
for
in
you.
just a moment.
Let's also get out of here with Alex. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
Guys, you can usually find me on the on my YouTube channel, The Drunk Banthas. I'm usually here with my brother Bill, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. And also every other Monday at 4:20 a.m. we have the show Does It Hold Up that comes out. This next Monday we have our Tank Girl episode that's coming out, which I'm very excited about. And we're also covering Futurama every week on the Drunk Banthas podcast.
Love it, man. Love it. Jeff, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
Well, Blake, thank you so much for asking. Obviously, we all know the best way is you can try and Skype me at Don Cheadle's Driveway at littledicky2.com.
Because the hackers.
Because the
hackers, yeah.
You can try and find Jeff Madel on Facebook. You can try and find Madel Jeff on Instagram. It's way too fucking hot, so you can't try and find me in Austin. But you can try and find me on YouTube about every Wednesday on 9 Nerd Yards.
That's right. We need to get this on a shirt for you because of the hackers for Jeff.
Because of the hackers.
Terry, where can people find you or one of your clones? And what are you up to?
Well, as always, you can find me on terryfphotos for my Instagram, but go ahead and follow the other Instagram, which is PenDependence.co, and go ahead and get your pins. If you order pins right now, you'll get one of our lovely 9 Nerd Yard stickers. And also, if you just happen to be in Lakewood, Colorado, and you go down to Lamar Plaza where the Casa Bonita actually is, I'll be vending pins in person. You can get your own Barbieheimer pins. Get them before they get banned in Japan.
Those Barbie pins are fire. Those Barbie pins are fire.
Oh yeah, I just got my Barbieheimer shirt, so it's great. My life.
I mean, the Barbieheimer double feature was fire. So
facts. 9, where can people find you? They want to reach out to you.
Right here, my dear boys, sweating, melting, heating up. Like I said, going to be working on that video, but I also just dropped a video featuring Alex of the Drunk Banthas.
Idol
instead
breakdown.
of making my own idol video, I just kind of commandeered his and added some end notes, and it was a lot of fun, and
it was incredible
for doing all of those. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Go check that out. That's on the channel now. And of course, we're doing the foundation streams every weekend. No set dates immediately right now, but either a Saturday or Sunday, then you'll be checking us talk about the new episode that drops on Friday. And we've been having so much fun. Our last stream was 3 hours and featured all the girls in my family. Like a split second coming back from a Beyonce concert. So you can check that out. And we just have been having the funnest time talking about that show. And again, we'll be dropping the Cloned Tyrone video. And yeah, we mucking. We
fucking mucking, bro.
And then after that, making some videos for Big Shingy. We have like 4 videos in the chamber that I'm editing for just music, and Shingy's YouTube channel, along with the Drunk Banthas and Unfiltered Bachelors, is also featured in the channel section under on the 9 Nerd Yards page, so you can go and see that. Just added Shingy and Alex to the little description, so you can also click on that to get his socials. But yeah,
factuals.
Hey Blake.
Hey Jeff.
Yeah, no one gives a shit where you can find you.
I know.
So you just said this right now. Blake, where can we find you, motherfucker?
Apparently, y'all can find me on Twitter talking shit. So go follow me there. Just type in money. Money
I
Blank
think you mean
Leather.
on X.
Oh, on X. How do you say it?
Oh,
X
man.
Twitter.
Disgusting.
Twix.
The logo looks like a porn site.
So bad.
Is it
Jesus.
2004? Why are we using
Yeah,
X?
Right?
It's pretty ridiculous.
You know why we're doing it. You know why we're doing it. But yeah, you can follow me,
So,
Money
Blake,
Black
where can we
Weather,
find you, brother?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. You can find me here every Tuesday breaking down The Ultimate Fighter. We have 2 more episodes left. And next week, our host, Kurt Hollabaugh, has a second fight in the house. So we'll be breaking that down with him right after the episode. And if you want to keep listening to me talk for some good reason, I don't know why, you can follow my other podcast, Unfiltered Bachelor. Yeah, just find it. iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are. That's where the show is. We do appreciate everybody tuning in, especially after 3 hours. There's a good hot mess of y'all still here, and we appreciate every single one of y'all
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
for
feel like
cloning yourselves and tuning in.
I feel like I foreshadowed this by shouting out a 3-hour podcast at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
I was not ready
I
for
feel
it.
like
I
I
was not ready
cursed
for
this.
it.
We had a lot of stuff.
So, fans, this is Alex's fault.
We had way
If
too
we
much
had
to talk
clones, this
about.
would never happen.
Alex, I feel like I'm partially to blame because before this podcast, I was watching the 1990 Ninja Turtles in theater. And I feel like that was just perpetuating all of it.
Perpetuating a
Well,
cycle. Yeah.
Stop doing that. We're not having you two together in the same room again. So on that note, we do appreciate everybody who tuned in, commented. I just see E66 and Khalid here. So y'all get to sleep. We love
Thank you,
y'all. We
guys.
appreciate y'all. And until next week, we will see you. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Take care, y'all.
Everyone, no clip tonight.